karyawan-karyawan saya, terutama buat lingkungan sekitar saya dulu gitu. Karena benar-benar kita tuh punya visi bahwa Snezibung nih harus berkah di dunia sama di akhirat sih. Kayak gitu. Jadi kalau untuk harapannya, justru saya pengen lebih banyak orang-orang yang bisa mendapatkan rezeki di bisnis ini gitu. Jadi dalam artian banyak karyawan, semakin banyak karyawan, tentu kan sebenarnya kolerasi sama kan. Dengan banyaknya karyawan pasti kan penjualan juga akan meningkat juga kan gitu. Tapi dari diri saya pribadi, gimana si Snezibung ini bisa menjadi ladang rezeki buat lebih banyak orang. Itu sih poin intinya gitu. Perjuangan itu seperti arum manis. Jika kita tekun menjalaninya, akan berasa manis pada akhirnya.
From Lebanon, we have reports of extreme weather that's resulted in casualties, and it's a special day in the newsroom today as we have a special interview with the ambassador of the European Union to ASEAN, and we're going to dig deep in regards to how we're doing relationship-wise, ASEAN and the EU, and how we are continuously building this relationship. Now, please do stay tuned for the next 3 hours because welcome to our viewers in Indonesia and across the world. Thank you for joining us on the 3-Hour News Show on C Today. We're bringing the latest from Indonesia, Southeast Asia, of course, around the world. I'm your host for today, Historia, and please also join me in welcoming my co-host for today, Hans Lango Hindranto.
Hello, ladies.
Hello.
How are you?
Feeling good on a Tuesday?
Yes, and also it's been a bright Tuesday for us here in the capital city of Indonesia, Jakarta. Hi, my name is Hans Lango. Welcome to the 3-Hour News Show. Make sure you follow us on our socials. We're on X, Instagram, and YouTube. Our handles are at CToday News for the latest updates, and I'll be bringing some sports updates later in the show. Have you ever heard of Camel racing? All right, we'll be talking about that later. But with us today is Yani for the latest from the business world.
Thank you, Hans. Well, Camel racing sounds pretty interesting, so I will wait for that. But hey, everyone, my name is Hindranto. We'll take a look at market and business updates from the country, the region, and elsewhere around the world. But first, let's take a look at what made the top stories for today.
4 people were killed where 3 others were injured after days of heavy rain in Lebanon led to the collapse of a building in a southern suburb of Beirut.
The Indonesian Stock Exchange, or IDX, reported that the number of carbon exchange service users continue to grow, with figures forecasted to double in 2024.
From sports, the Indonesian Football Association has named Japanese coach Satoru Mochizuki as head coach for the Indonesian women's national team.
And later in our See the Story segment, stay tuned for a final hour. We will have a chat about a fun way to learn history with the Neo Historia community.
All right, guys, let's not waste any more time. We're going to go straight into our first updates for today. A building collapsed in a southern suburb of Beirut late Monday, killing 4 people and injuring 3 others as search operations continued for more people under the rubble.
The building that collapsed in the suburbs of Shuaifat crumbled after days of heavy rain in Lebanon.
Local officials said that the building was not considered safe and that the municipality had ordered the 4-story building evacuated 2 years ago. This was because of concerns that its foundations were weak. Despite the order, the owner of the building rented apartments to Syrian families.
According to the Islamic Health Society that was taking part in rescue operations, most of the people living in the building are Syrian citizens. State-run national news agency also reported that 4 people, 2 women, a man and a child were all killed.
A member of the Lebanese Red Cross told the local Al Jadid TV that at the scene that 17 people are still believed to be under the rubble. A building collapsed in the same area earlier this month, but no one was hurt as people were evacuated out of concern it was not considered safe. Lebanon hosts some of 805,000 United Nations Syrian refugees, but officials estimate that the actual number is far higher, between 1.5 million and 2 million.
تم سحب اثنين إناس على قيد الحياة وجثة الطفل، وحاليا نحن في شخصين عم نتواصل معهم وعم نشتغل لحتى نسحبهم.
يعني هيدي فاجعة حصلت، ومع الأسف نأسف والله يرحم الشهداء اللي راحوا ويشفي على الجرحى. بترك هذا الأمر للاختصاصيين والفرق الهندسية اللي طلبناها من وزارة الداخلية واتصلنا بوزير الداخلية، وهذا محافظ جبل لبنان موجود معنا هون، والعميد ريمون خطار تبع الدفاع المدني أيضا موجود. هن بيعطونا حقيقة حجم الأضرار اللي حصلت.
And moving on to the United States, college students in Colorado Springs gathered on Monday to rally and mourn 2 people found dead in a dorm room last week.
The gathering came the same day with the arrest of Nicholas Jordan on murder charges related to the shootings at the University of Colorado in Colorado Springs.
Police arrested the suspect without incident on 2 counts of first-degree murder. The arrest took place in Colorado Springs after the police motor vehicle theft unit located Jordan in a car. The tactical enforcement unit then took him into custody. Now, the victims were identified as Celie Rain Montgomery and Samuel Knopp, a student at the university located about 69 miles south of Denver.
Friday's shooting appeared to be an isolated incident between individuals who knew each other and not a random attack at the school. While the coroner's office will determine the cause of death, each victim was shot at least once. Police were alerted early Friday morning about shots fired at the university's dormitory, Creston House, where they found the 2 deceased.
A 19-minute campus-wide lockdown was issued after the shooting, and the university remained closed for the day and throughout the weekend. Monday classes were canceled, with the school offering walk-in counseling. The university, with over 11,000 students and nearly 2,000 faculty and staff, awaits court records in the case. It is currently unknown if Jordan has legal representation, and no hearing has been scheduled.
We are here together to mourn and reflect a moment in time that I can only describe as one of the most difficult weeks in UCCS history. Thank you for being here, genuinely. I'm glad you're taking the time to come together with your fellow mountain lions. Mia and Sam were intertwined in the student population. So many of us knew the light that Mia brought to our UCCS community. While I didn't know Sam personally, our paths have most certainly crossed given the closeness and the unity of the student community.
And now we're going to take you back to Indonesia, where police continue to investigate alleged bullying involving high school students in Serpong, South Tangerang.
According to the latest report, the victim has been discharged from the hospital and is in outpatient care.
The South Tangerang police stated earlier today that they are now looking into the alleged bullying of a student at an elite school in the Serpong area. The victim is set to undergo a psychological examination very soon. Based on initial investigations, this was the 2nd time The bullies had allegedly abused the victim, with the first occurring last February the 2nd.
Authorities have also taken statements from the victim and his family while making the amateur video as evidence. A preliminary hearing is set to be held to determine the status of the suspects.
Untuk saksi yang diperiksa dari pihak korban dan pihak keluarga. Untuk bukti sementara dari video kami dapatkan dari rekaman video, kemudian ada beberapa bukti lainnya. Kondisi korban saat ini, menurut informasi yang kami terima, sudah keluar dari rumah sakit dalam kondisi rawat jalan. Kami menghimbau kepada seluruh elemen masyarakat, mari kita bersama-sama mencegah kejadian ini untuk tidak terulang lagi di kemudian hari. Kami berharap kita semua meningkatkan pengawasan maupun melakukan tindakan pencegahan agar tidak terjadi lagi ke depannya kasus-kasus seperti ini. Rencana kami hari ini kami gelar perkara untuk peningkatan status dari penyelidikan ke penyidikan. Dalam waktu dekat nanti akan kami infokan. Diduga lebih dari 1 orang.
On to another update. Indonesian President Joko Widodo this morning attended the special session of the 2023 Supreme Court Annual Report at the Jakarta Convention Center.
The president appreciated the efforts of the Supreme Court, which continues to reform as a part of strengthening the rule of law and good governance.
The Supreme Court in 2023 resolved over 99% of cases. The court has published 22,000 verdicts on a site accessible to the public, and the court is committed to internal reforms, including a move to improve the e-court system and apply an AI-based decision spot system.
President Widodo in his speech reminded the Supreme Court of the public's hope for improvement. The court must therefore also focus on improving its human resources.
Harapan masyarakat kepada lembaga peradilan semakin tinggi. Masyarakat menuntut jaminan keadilan, masyarakat semakin kritis terhadap proses peradilan dan semakin terbuka menyampaikan penilaiannya. Di tengah-tengah tantangan ini, integritas adalah pilar utama, bukan hanya bagi para hakim agung, tetapi seluruh hakim di Indonesia, juga seluruh panitera ASN dan pegawai Mahkamah Agung. Kualitas SDM hakim adalah kunci. Integritasnya, profesionalismenya, kepekaannya terhadap rasa keadilan masyarakat, kepekaannya terhadap perkembangan zaman termasuk perkembangan ilmu pengetahuan dan teknologi.
And so from Indonesia, today marks the 78th anniversary of the Indonesian Naval Military Police Corps.
A celebration took place earlier today, featuring a ceremony and parade at the Corps' headquarters in Jakarta.
The Indonesian Naval Military Police Corps celebrated its 78th anniversary with a ceremony and parade at its headquarters in Kelapa Gading, North Jakarta. Deputy Navy Chief Vice Admiral Erwin S. Aldedharma led Tuesday's ceremony, attended by former and current military police commanders from across Indonesia. This year's anniversary tagline, "Bringing the Spirit of Wijna Wira Widayaka," emphasizes the core commitment to supporting the Navy in creating a prosperous Indonesia. Wijna Wira Widayaka, a Navy slogan, alludes to patriotic, righteous and wise soldiers valuing the principle of truth. The commemoration featured a sequence of shows and parades featuring martial arts and police demonstrations. As the Corps entered its 78th year, the focus remains on addressing various issues, including cybercrime.
Hari ulang tahun Korps Polisi Militer Angkatan Laut yang ke-78 yang kebetulan memang jatuh pada hari ini, 20 Februari 2024. Kita ketahui bersama bahwa Korps Polisi Militer Angkatan Laut ini mempunyai tugas untuk menegakkan disiplin, hukum, dan tata tertib di jajaran TNI Angkatan Laut, sehingga tentunya kita juga mengharapkan Korps Polisi Militer bisa melaksanakan tugasnya dengan baik. Tentunya tujuannya tidak lain dan tidak bukan adalah agar pelaksanaan disiplin, tata tertib, dan hukum di lingkungan TNI Angkatan Laut itu ada yang mengawasi, sehingga kita membutuhkan contoh dan tauladan yang sesuai dengan itu.
In their ongoing efforts, the Naval Military Police Corps played a crucial role in safeguarding the 2024 general elections, maintaining vigilance until the official conclusion of the vote counting process. Delia Dinda and Lutfi Evan reporting from Jakarta.
The Indonesian Communication and Informatics Ministry is organizing the Road to the 10th World Water Forum with the theme Maintain Water Quality, Maintain Indonesia.
The event is held online in Jakarta today, and the theme serves as a reminder to protect water as a source of common welfare.
Access to water sources and maintaining water quality remains a challenge in some countries that makes it imperative to address this issue globally.
The 10th World Water Forum will be held in Bali from May 10th to the 25th and will feature the theme of Water for Shared Prosperity. The Indonesian Environment Ministry's Director of Pollution Control and Environment Damage, Sigit Reliantoro, said that 6 topics will be discussed in the forum. Now, these topics include water for humans and nature, water security, and prosperity.
Reliantoro emphasized that the importance of improving water quality supervision in industries to meet the quality standards of wastewater. Currently, 79% of 2,853 industries have met the quality standards of wastewater. The ministry will continue to supervise the entire industry from upstream to downstream operations and apply strict sanctions for any violations.
Sektor industri yang sudah memasang sparring itu di sistemnya sendiri sudah diinstal karena dia kan real time. Begitu dia melebihi baku mutu, maka langsung di-generate peringatan kepada industri tersebut untuk segera memperbaiki. Nah, kemudian kan datanya juga kita bisa pantau. Kalau dalam waktu tertentu yang ditetapkan di peringatan tadi dia tidak bisa memperbaiki IPA-nya untuk memenuhi baku mutu, maka kita akan laporkan itu ke Dirjen Gakum.
And we're going for a first quick break in this hour, but when we come back, we'll have the latest from Southeast Asia and around the world.
And later in the hour, I'll bring you the latest from the world of business.
And also, please do not go anywhere, as we will have an exclusive interview with His Excellency Sujiro Seam, the Ambassador of the European Union to ASEAN. So please stay with us.
Good morning, Indonesia, Southeast Asia, and the world. Rise and shine, everyone. A brand new start to a brand new month and a brand new week. Here at
Good morning. Good morning. It's a deja vu. Good.
Like deja vu. It's like with sports, entertainment as well.
It is time for Steve Today with Business with me, Caroline. All right, guys. See Indonesia, see the world, see today.
Asian flavors is gaining more popularity around the world in the last decade. Personally love this, not just because it is familiar for our palate, but because the airiness, the textures of the youtiao, it's completely different than baguette. So with those appetites and with those pleasure-driven people, Menteng is a very special place for restaurant.
Kenapa sih dia selalu mau eksis kalau aku syuting? Ijo sama yang merah ini tuh rumah pribumi. Jadi aku taruh di dalam, makanya rasanya lebih welcome gitu. Modern banget. Dia tuh sempit banget kalau ceilingnya pendek. Menurut aku ya, kita belum ngerasa memiliki kalau belum ada sejarahnya. kalau gue pakai warna itu hari ini akan senang deh.
Ya kan gue menikah, jadi saya masih dapat angpau sih.
Ya, gue yang penting apa yang gue makan bisa gue buang pada saat gue olahraga, gitu.
Teman bicara Maman adalah ruang tanpa sekat.
Teman tuli gini, Winda, kamu S1-nya psikologi ya? Iya. Saya mau curhat gitu. Gelar dokter penari itu langka.
Hanya 7 orang?
Saya.
Dirimu yang ke-7?
Ke-7, ya. Kalau saya observatif langsung menjadi ronggengnya.
Hai anak kecil, aku sudah bertahun-tahun berada di dalam botol ini.
Lock and hit tadi itu, di bagian hitnya, saya coba manajemen menjadi knowledge. Justru yang love saya simpan sendiri.
Satu bukit sampai elevasi gua hari itu nyentuh 4.000-an lah.
I kinda wanna die.
Welcome back to the 3-Hour News Show with SMC today. Now, the EU and ASEAN partnership was established since 1977 and serves as a platform for exchanging values, principles, and promoting free and fair trade based on international laws.
With export values totaling of 140 billion euros or $150.8 billion in 2018, the EU swiftly emerged as ASEAN's second largest trading partner, contributing to approximately 10% of ASEAN's overall trade.
The EU also acts as ASEAN's largest provider of foreign direct investments.
From 2021 until 2027, the EU has designated around 180 million euros or $194 million for regional cooperation with ASEAN.
Following the 2023 EU-ASEAN Commemorative Summit, the EU pledged 10 billion euros or equivalent to $10.7 billion for connectivity projects in ASEAN's Global Gateway Initiative.
The dialogue between the EU and ASEAN spans more than 45 years and will continue stronger than ever. The 24th EU-ASEAN ministerial meeting in Brussels in early February marked a new chapter in their long-standing strategic partnership, indicating promising collaboration in the coming years.
Now, during the meeting, the ministers from both parties made significant progress on several areas of cooperation, including trade, green initiatives, digital transition, and of course, we also have global security.
Yes, and this collaboration advancement may indicate a promising relation for both parties in the following years.
All right. Now, as mentioned before, we have a special guest here, the Ambassador of the European Union to ASEAN, His Excellency Sujiro Seam, to discuss the long-standing relations between the EU and ASEAN.
And the conversation will focus on the future collaboration and diplomatic ties in 2024, following the 24th EU-ASEAN ministerial meeting in Brussels on February the 2nd.
So, Ambassador, Excellency, welcome to the studio.
Thank you for having me.
Well, we're certainly very excited because there are a lot of things that seems to be worthy of highlighting. Now, one of the first things, of course, we want to talk about is the ASEAN Outlook on the Indo-Pacific, or AOIP. It's a framework that guides its member countries in the dynamics of the Indo-Pacific region and is recently released during the latest ASEAN summit under Indonesia's chairmanship. So we understand that the EU has its own perspective and stand on this. Could you help elaborate how this cooperation will come to fruition, what the stance of the EU is, and what the vision, according to your perspective, is in the Indo-Pacific?
Well, thank you very much. You said in your introduction that the dialogue partnership between the European Union and ASEAN has been extremely fruitful over the years. We are now reaching the 47-year mark. And the 2nd of February, earlier this month, we had the 24th European Union ASEAN ministerial meeting. It is very interesting that you wish to open this conversation with the Indo-Pacific, because actually in the morning of the 2nd of February, we also had the European Union Indo-Pacific Ministerial Forum. So that was a unique opportunity to interact between the foreign ministers of the European Union and the foreign ministers of ASEAN, not only in the context of the European Union ASEAN ministerial meeting, but also within the European Union Indo-Pacific Ministerial Forum. This was a very successful meeting because it produced a joint statement. It's not always the case, but having a joint statement endorsed by the 37 member states present, the 27 member states of the European Union and the 10 member states of ASEAN, is no small feat. If you look at the joint statement, there is a whole paragraph which deals with the Indo-Pacific. This is paragraph 6. What it says is basically that we have a lot of areas of convergence. In particular, the European Union and ASEAN both defend an open, inclusive, transparent, and rules-based Indo-Pacific. It also goes to recognize that the setup is a little bit on the side and on the ASEAN side. On the EU side, we have the European Union strategy for cooperation in the Indo-Pacific with 7 priorities, which are prosperity, the green transition, oceans, connectivity, digital, peace and security, and human security. Whereas on the ASEAN side, we have the ASEAN Outlook on the Indo-Pacific with its 4 priorities, which are about maritime cooperation, connectivity, the Sustainable Development Goals, and economic and other issues. Now it's fair to say that, in particular in the context of the ASEAN chairmanship under the Indonesian chairmanship last year, the focus was very much on economy, totally in line with the theme of the chairmanship, the epicentrum of growth. And I think one of the main achievements of the Indo-Pacific Forum of ASEAN was this list of 93 projects worth $38 billion. And the EU contributed to that with 22 projects coming from Team Europe, the European Union, its member states, and its financial institutions. So I think it's a strong contribution. It was very good that the European Union and its member states participated in the ASEAN Indo-Pacific Forum, and it was very good that the ASEAN foreign ministers were in position to reciprocate and participate in the European Union Indo-Pacific Ministerial Forum. Now, I would argue that the European Union strategy is a little bit more than just focusing on the economic dimension of the Indo-Pacific. This is a comprehensive strategy. This is a strategy which is articulated around geostrategic issues. This is a strategy which has a geopolitical ambition, and this is probably where we need to work together between ASEAN and the European Union. I'm quite hopeful that we will manage to do that. In particular, when I look at the ASEAN Defense Ministers Meeting Plus, which took place here in November last year, which worked on a concept paper on the security dimension of the Indo-Pacific. So I think that will bridge the difference of approaches between purely an economic view and a more comprehensive approach, including with a geostrategic dimension.
Well, apparently many things have been covered in the ministerial meeting, but as you were saying, more on the emphasis on the economy, and as well, now we are going forward from 2024 to a more digital world. One of the topics of the discussion was the ASEAN Digital Economy Framework Agreement. And the EU itself expressed its eagerness to work together with ASEAN in this initiative. Now, how does the EU perceive collaboration with ASEAN in this field?
I think there are 3 dimensions to that. And again, I would refer you to the joint statement. And digital economy, the Digital Economy Framework Agreement were referenced in paragraphs 10 and 20 of this joint statement. And basically, the 3 elements are the following. There is a strong emphasis on business and trade, because there is an agreement between ASEAN and the European Union, which was recognized at the highest level. It was recognized in the joint leader statement of the 2022 commemorative summit, and also in the plan of action for 2023-2027, that we would focus on, as far as trade, business and investment is concerned, we would focus on the digital transition, the green transition, and supply chains. So this is a full part of our economic, business and trade agenda. And the next opportunity to discuss is a joint working group on trade and investment on the 15th of March. Then there is a second dimension of it. At the same time as we had the Indo-Pacific Ministerial Forum and the EU-ASEAN Ministerial Meeting in Brussels on the 2nd of February, in Singapore, the ASEAN digital ministers met. During that meeting, they, among other things, adopted the EU-ASEAN work plan on digital matters. This work plan provides for support from the European Union to ADIX, which is the ASEAN Digital Index, which measures the level of digitalization in ASEAN member states. It also plans for a cooperation on data collection, data mapping, data analysis, data measurement, and it provides for exchange of best practices and experience in the form of seminars on artificial intelligence governance, for example. You know that the European Union just adopted an Artificial Intelligence Act. It's the first in the world, so we're leading the way on that aspect. And the third dimension is concrete projects. So we have concrete projects in ASEAN member states. You mentioned the Global Gateway Initiative from the European Union, which is an initiative to invest in infrastructure. One of the 13 flagship projects under Global Gateway so far in the Philippines is about digital connectivity. We also have projects ongoing on cybersecurity, which is a dimension that we need to address when it comes to the digital transition. And finally, we also work at the bilateral level with the member states of ASEAN, which are the most advanced on the digital transition, in particular in the form of a digital partnership agreement between the European Union and Singapore.
Oh, very interesting. I want to take you back to one of the things you mentioned, the joint working group meeting on trade. Now, recently there's been a certain update. The European Union is currently imposing stricter regulation in terms of imports of palm oil, for instance, and to these Southeast Asian countries. While many Southeast Asian countries continue to export it, right? So you mentioned before, recently there has been an ongoing joint working group meetings that was held on palm oil specifically also between the EU and relevant ASEAN member states. Could you provide us the progress in this? Because we would love to hear what these progresses of restrictions are also about, because we understand that the European Union are really working on the sustainability aspects and the transparency aspects of the products that the EU imports in the country as well.
Yes, certainly. But let me just say first that the European Union is not targeting any ASEAN member states when it comes to palm oil. Actually, the regulations we have in place apply to everyone, to the whole world, including to our own producers. And the goal is to make sure that we have sustainable production and consumption of vegetable oils. So we recognize that for some ASEAN member states, and which are major exporters of palm oil to the European market, this causes a certain level of concern and anxiety.
Yes.
So that's the reason why ASEAN and the European Union, as regional entities, decided to set up this joint working group on palm oil. We already had 3 meetings. The last one took place virtually on the 20th of June last year. And the purpose of this meeting was threefold. First, to exchange on the trends in the consumption and the production of vegetable oil, including palm oil, but not only. Second, to work on the challenges to certification, because when we say sustainable production and consumption, it has to do with certification. And finally, to work on possible cooperation between the European Union and ASEAN and their respective member states to address the concerns which, in particular, have to do with the impact these measures would have on smallholder producers. So I think it was a very good meeting. It took place last year on the 20th of June 2023. There is an interest in having a 4th meeting this year. So I may update you when we see more progress on that. But in a nutshell, let me say that we recognize that this is a matter of concern. And it's good that in the context of the ASEAN-European Union relationship, we have a mechanism in place to address those concerns in the form of this joint working group.
Do you feel optimistic that, Southeast Asian exports can meet these standards?
It has to do with the trajectory. You know that the green transition imposes new obligations on everyone. These obligations are also implemented with respect to climate change or with respect to deforestation. So we have other measures which contribute to reach this goal of fighting climate change, fighting biodiversity loss. And it's all about the trajectory, and it's all about the consultation. we put in place to make sure that we leave no stone unturned, and that we make sure that we address all the concerns which are conveyed to us.
Well, you were mentioning about how the commitment of EU on sustainable, that also mentioning about the deforestation, because apparently not only crude oil, some of the products include cattle, cocoa, coffee, rubber, and to be allowed to enter the market, business owners must show that their actions are legal and also conduct due diligence to prevent any association with deforestation. But what will be the criteria for evaluation under this policy, Excellency?
So I see that you did your homework on deforestation. You have a very good knowledge of the European Union deforestation regulation. So indeed, this regulation was put in place to address the specific problem of deforestation. Between 1990 and 2020, in the course of 30 years, we lost 420 million hectares to deforestation, which is equivalent to the surface of the whole of the European Union. So there is no doubt that this is a real issue. Also, deforestation, the Food and Agriculture Organization data shows that for 90% of the deforestation, it is linked to agriculture. So agricultural production is responsible for 90% of the deforestation we witness. So there is no doubt that we need to address this issue because it contributes to deteriorate climate change or increase climate change in the form of and less carbon capture, but it's also a threat to biodiversity. So this is the reason why the European Union has this European Union deforestation regulation in place. The application of this European Union deforestation regulation is progressive, and just like for palm oil, we have a mechanism in place to address the concerns which have been conveyed to us by ASEAN member states. And I would say that ASEAN is the only region in the world where we have this mechanism in place. It's the Joint Task Force on Deforestation. The last meeting was on the 2nd of February in Putrajaya in Malaysia. It's a very substantive body of work because we address there 5 different work streams. It's about the impact on smallholders. It's about mechanisms for certification. It's about traceability. It's about data collection. And it's also about data privacy. So the requirements from the European Union is to make sure that we can link any agricultural product to a piece of land. So that's the traceability and certification part of it, which requires also a robust mechanism for data collection, respecting the privacy of the people involved. That's the reason why we have these 5 work streams in the Joint Task Force on Deforestation. But at the end of the day, the legality of the system has to be appreciated in the country of origin, so those exporting countries. And for the due diligence, this is still work in progress. So it is very good that we have these 5 work streams discussed in the Joint Task Force. And there was an agreement in Putrajaya to have the next meeting in September this year in Brussels.
Oh, very interesting. Well, you know, the European Union and its member states are also one of the biggest investors when it comes to development help bilaterally here with Indonesia as well in terms of deforestation and things like that. Very interesting. Now, we want to take you back to the beginning of this interview. You mentioned a little bit about the Indo-Pacific because we did start on a trade and economy sector, but you mentioned that everything is interconnected with the geopolitical situation in the Indo-Pacific. Now, we know that things have changed recently, especially given the recent change in Asia-Pacific, including the updates on Taiwan's presidency and how Beijing has reacted to that. So could you elaborate a little bit more on the EU's stance and how EU sees ASEAN's role in the Indo-Pacific peacekeeping initiative here?
The short answer to your question, it may sound as a buzzword, but it's much more than that. It's the centrality of ASEAN. I mean, everybody agrees on the centrality of ASEAN, meaning that in this region of the world, Southeast Asia, ASEAN is the only regional platform which addresses all the issues of interest for the region. Therefore, if we want to engage with this part of the world, we have to engage with ASEAN. This is the reason why, for the past 47 years, the European Union has been a dialogue partner, and since 2020, a strategic partner for ASEAN. When it comes to all these issues of geopolitical and geostrategic interest, it is good that we have this platform, the European Union-ASEAN Strategic Partnership, to discuss those issues. More concretely, a large number of the interventions during the European Union-ASEAN ministerial meeting in Brussels were about those geopolitical hotspots that we have around the world. So again, if you look at the joint statement, it conveys and reflects the common position from the European Union on the one hand and ASEAN on the other hand, and their collectively 37 member states on those geopolitical situations. So we have paragraphs on the South China Sea, we have paragraphs on Myanmar, we have paragraphs on Ukraine, we have paragraphs on the Korean Peninsula, we have paragraphs on Afghanistan, and of course we have a paragraph on the Middle East and Gaza. So again, it is very good that we have this framework in place. I would add that there is an aspiration from the European Union to increase its level of engagement with ASEAN on the political and defense and security front. It goes through our wish to become a regular partner for ASEAN with regular summits, engagement at the highest political level, which we do not have yet at this point in time. We had the 45th anniversary commemorative summit, but there is this feeling which was expressed from the European Union side that we need to increase our level of engagement and the frequency of our high-level engagement with ASEAN in the form of more regular summits. There is also an interest expressed from the EU side to take part not only in the ASEAN Regional Forum or the Post-Ministerial Conference, which are ministerial levels of engagement, but also to be a part of the East Asia Summit, which is the place where ASEAN addresses geopolitical and geostrategic issues. We also have expressed our interest in becoming a part of the ASEAN Defense Ministers Meeting Plus, which is the place where defense and security issues are discussed. I think it's interesting to note that the European Union ASEAN Ministerial Meeting was co-chaired in Brussels by, for the ASEAN side, the Secretary for Foreign Affairs of the Philippines, which is the country coordinator for the European Union, Enrique Manalo. But on the EU side, that was José Borrell, who is the High Representative and Vice President of the European Commission for the Foreign and Security Policy. So he's at the same time in charge of foreign affairs and defense and security. So there is this desire from the European Union with ASEAN to address those very difficult issues which have to do about peace and security around the globe.
It seems like the priorities have changed in the last couple of years, yes?
Yeah, and we have our homework too to see all the documents around that. But also, Your Excellency, you've been here in Indonesia for 6 months now, and you've been seeing how the dynamic in ASEAN as well, now Indonesian chairmanship as well in ASEAN. Now we are going into the changing of administration of Indonesia, because we just had our general elections and soon to be announced the result of it. What is your hope in the next administration in regards to Indonesian chairmanship in ASEAN and as well as the relations with the EU?
Well, I think José Borrell, our High Representative and Vice President of the European Commission for the Foreign and Security Policy, put it in the best terms. He posted on X, formerly known as Twitter, and I quote, "We commend all Indonesians for the high turnout in the election, which shows unwavering commitment to democracy. And while we await official results, we stand ready to engage with the next president because Indonesia matters to Europe and the world."
Wow.
That was quite a simple and strong message.
Simple, direct. Now, Excellency, we've done all the office stuff. You've been here for 6 months. We would love to know when you heard that your next posts were going to be in Indonesia. Do you have a list of the things that you have to see or try here in Indonesia?
You know, it's a little bit misleading because people think that diplomats like myself choose a job according to geography.
Oh.
And that's not the case.
Oh, that's not the case.
We don't pick a country. We pick a job. So I chose to be the ambassador of the European Union to ASEAN. It happens to be located here in Jakarta, but I did not pick Jakarta as my destination. So it's not like holiday, you know, you look at the map and
just
try to
pinpoint
get the best beaches or the best ski slopes, depending on what you fancy. In my case, I just picked a job. And I'm very happy to be and very honored to be the ambassador of the European Union to ASEAN, also because this is my heritage. Even though I'm a French career diplomat, I was born in Cambodia. Unfortunately, I had to flee this country in the dark years of the Khmer Rouge to escape the genocide. But I'm very happy to come back to the region as the ambassador of the European Union for ASEAN because I can feel that. Yes, of course, I'm 100% European, so I'm one of the Europeans, but I'm also Southeast Asian.
So what is the thing that you miss the most about the region?
I think it is still early days. So I might come back if you are kind enough to invite me again.
Of course.
After I had a chance to visit more of the countries in the region.
Yes, well, we certainly look forward, and we know that this year is also going to be a new chairmanship, and ASEAN is going to keep you very busy because ASEAN means a lot of member states and a lot of relationships to build, whether it's the bilateral or the multilateral, side of it, and we're certainly very much looking forward to hearing more from you. So, Excellency, thank you so much for your time to come down to the studio. 6 months it took us, you're finally here.
Thank you.
So please enjoy the rest of, all of the things that you will experience here in ASEAN, in the Southeast Asian region. Well, yes, and with that, we thank His Excellency very much for this interview. We're going for another break, Hans.
And after the break, Yanni will deliver some economics and business updates, so please do not go anywhere.
So spicy.
Absolutely delicious.
You know, it's actually pretty good.
Satu, dua, tiga. Come see the nature, only on See Indonesia.
Come see the beauty, only on See Indonesia.
Only on See Indonesia.
Their existence is now being critically endangered.
Dia memiliki ekor yang sangat panjang, jauh lebih panjang daripada badannya sendiri.
Tekniknya dia itu bergelombol, menggunakan punggung temannya untuk naik.
Sebenarnya konservasi burung hantu di sini latar belakangnya jelas asas manfaat. Jadi kita pengen melestarikan burung, melestarikan satwa, tapi juga otomatis dampaknya ke masyarakat yang khususnya sekarang kalau di sini kan petani.
Welcome back to another episode of Buddy Talk.
Enggak, dia hostnya, kita co-host.
It's better to be overdressed than underdressed. That's actually a good hack, because I used to live in Canada. That was our trick.
Point to Manado on this map.
I'm horrible, I told you I'm bad.
Dikira dengan banyaknya informasi itu kan jadi makin gampang gitu.
Iya.
Tapi ternyata susah banget.
Ke Binjai mau migrasi.
Cakep.
Anjay, aku deportasi.
Ya aku cuma mau bilang hari ini kamu tuh cantik ya.
Aduh ya Allah.
Oke lah kalau penampilan dia nggak sebaik itu, nggak sebagus itu, nggak seganteng itu, tapi itu hatinya dia sebaik itu dan tidak ada orang yang pernah gue temuin hatinya sebaik Mas.
Pemain.
Hello viewers, you're still watching the 3-hour news show on See Today. And let's see what we have for you in the business segment. Let's start with this one. The Indonesian Stock Exchange, or IDX, reported on Monday that the number of listed companies on the carbon exchange continue to grow and is forecasted to double in 2024. The IDX is urging the listed companies to prepare the net zero roadmap as many foreign investors pay more attention to environmental, social, and governance. The IDX mentioned that as of today, Indonesian Carbon Exchange has 48 listed companies in total since it was launched in September 2023. The IDX is targeting to gain 50 new users from state-owned enterprises, subsidiaries, as well as listed and non-listed companies for a total of 96 users by the end of 2024. The IDX continues to discuss and socialize the advantage of carbon exchange through the listed companies as part of effort to draw new users. The IDX is also urging the companies to set a roadmap since many foreign investors are starting to pay more attention to environmental, social, and governance aspects, or ESG.
Nah, tentu kami harapkan setiap perusahaan tercatat, emiten juga mulai menyusun roadmap net zero. Karena apa? Karena investor, utamanya investor asing saat ini tidak hanya memperhatikan faktor financial performance dalam keputusan investasi mereka, tetapi faktor ESG itu juga menjadi perhatian yang sangat penting dari para investor.
Moving on to the next one, concerns about escalating prices are seen in a number of regions due to extreme weather affecting rice-producing areas. Riau Bulog has, however, assured rice availability ahead of the holy month of Ramadan. Meanwhile, acting West Java Governor Bey Mahmudin has assured secure supplies with a stock of 57,000 tons currently available.
Towards the end of February, rice prices continued to rise in Serang City, reaching 437,500 per sack. Medium-grade rice is now sold at 16,000 per kilogram, up from 13,000. Premium rice has increased from 14,000 to 17,500 per kilogram. And this trend is expected to persist into the upcoming Ramadan, traditionally causing a spike in market prices. Consumers in Pekanbaru's Kodim traditional market have raised concerns about the escalating rice prices. Premium rice like Belida costs around 17,500 rupiah per kilogram, while Anagdaro rice is 17,000 rupiah per kilogram. The soaring prices are attributed to extreme weather affecting rice-producing areas. Meanwhile, Riau Bulog assures the availability of rice despite the price surge.
Untuk Ramadan, stok kita aman. Sampai saat ini, stok kita ada 21.000 ton. Nanti kalau kita rasa kurang mencukupi, nanti ada penambahan. Rencana ada 2 kapal lagi masuk, kemudian ada nanti kita minta lagi, kalau tidak dari DKI dan dari Sumatera Utara. 21.000 ton. 21.000 ton itu diperkirakan sampai dengan bulan 6.
West Java Acting Governor Bey Mahmudin has ensured a sufficient rice supply in both the market and Bulog warehouses, with Bulog stock reaching 57,000 tons. The stock is expected to increase with the arrival of 22,000 tons of imported rice at Patiman Port, Subang. The governor further urged Bulog to expedite the distribution of subsidized rice to retail markets.
Mengecek ketersediaan beras. Jadi pertama, masyarakat tidak perlu panik karena beras ada, di pasar beras pun ada, dan di Bulog ada 57.000 ton. Ketersediaan nanti malam juga turun lagi 20.000, dan beras SPHP yang dari Bulog itu juga sudah masuk ke pasar-pasar retail. Jadi ketersediaan itu ada dan masyarakat jangan panik, jangan beli, jangan berlebihan. Memang beli kalau perlu, tidak perlu menimbun.
Saturday contributor reporting from Pekanbaru Riau, Serang Banten, and Bandung, West Java.
All right, well, there you have it. Those were the economics and business updates for this hour. When we return, Hans will bring you the latest from the world of sports. You don't want to miss that, so don't go anywhere.
Berangkat aja dulu, kerjakan apa yang ada di depan kalian. Setidaknya kalian hari ini walaupun tidak mendapatkan uang, tapi kalian mendapatkan kesempatan.
Walaupun di awal-awal itu banyak sekali rintangan dan tantangan.
Kalian berproses aja dulu, jalan aja dulu. Kalau udah waktunya kalian untuk dapetin uang akan datang nyamperin kalian. Hal yang paling sangat utama untuk mengawali bisnis, ridho dan restu orang tua. Itu hal dan modal paling besar dalam mengawali usaha.
The China Earthquake Network Center reported that the quake rocked the Ertupen County in Aksu Prefecture shortly after 2 a.m. local time.
Minister January Makamba was a guest in one of our news programs, the 3-Hour News Show, yesterday. While he was in the studio, he used the opportunity to explain the current state of diplomatic ties between Tanzania and Indonesia.
Indonesian Foreign Affairs Minister Retno Marsudi addressed the UN Security Council during an open debate in New York.
Ini adalah open debate Dewan Keamanan PBB ketiga mengenai Gaza dalam 3 bulan terakhir dan Indonesia hadir di ketiganya.
Indonesian Foreign Affairs Minister Retno Marsudi addressed the UN Security Council during an open debate in New York.
Ini adalah open debate Dewan Keamanan PBB ketiga mengenai Gaza dalam 3 bulan terakhir dan Indonesia hadir di ketiganya.
Good morning, Indonesia, Southeast Asia, and the world. Rise and shine, everyone. A brand new start to a brand new month and a brand new week. Here at
Good morning. Good morning. It's a deja vu. Good.
Like deja vu. It's like sports, entertainment as well.
It is time for Steve Today with Business with me, Caroline. All right, guys. See Indonesia, see the world, see today.
So spicy.
Absolutely delicious.
You know, it's actually pretty good.
Satu, dua, tiga. Come see the nature, only on See Indonesia.
Come see the beauty, only on See Indonesia.
Only on See Indonesia.
Hello, welcome back to the show now. I have some sports updates. Indonesian Football Association has started assembling the Under-16 national team for the upcoming Under-16 AFF Cup and Under-17 Asia Cup qualifiers. Nova Arianto, who is appointed head coach, has initiated the selection process in Jakarta and is assessing 100 players.
The Indonesian Football Association recently appointed Nova Arianto as the head coach of Under-16 national team. His first task is to select and organize a team for the AFF Cup and the Asian Cup qualifiers. Currently, around 100 players are being considered to join the team, and all of them will have a chance to showcase their skills gradually. At the first phase of selection, which took place in Jakarta on Monday afternoon, 32 players were summoned. Most of these players were identified by talent scouts during various competitions, such as the Elite Pro Academy and Suratin Cup, or through recommendation from soccer school.
Ini kita buatnya sebagai tahap pertama. Jadi tahap pertama kita melakukan dengan 3 gelombang dan setiap gelombang kita dengan 32 pemain. Jadi total di tahap pertama ini kita ada sekitar 100 orang. Jadi ini sumbernya dari ada Liga Top Skor, lagi Piala Suratin, dan tim EPA yang tidak lolos di 8 besar. Termasuk dari rekomendasi pelatih-pelatih dan dari akademi dan SSB yang pelatih-pelatih kan memberikan rekomendasinya. Pastinya kalau U16 sebenarnya generasi baru pemain tim nasional ya ke depannya, karena kalau kita di U23 kita bisa punya data pemain dari U20, kalau di U20 bisa data pemain dari U17 yang Piala Dunia. Tapi kalau U16 memang ini generasi baru dan kendalanya adalah kita tidak punya waktu yang panjang untuk menyeleksi pemain. Jadi siapa pemain yang datang hari ini atau gelombang 1, 2, 3 itu adalah pemain-pemain dari rekomendasi Suratin, dan kebetulan kita punya telescouting grupnya di EPA dan kita minta masukan dari coach Rizkynya.
The coaching team is also considering talented diaspora players who hold Indonesian passport. This year, the under-16 team has 2 main objectives: participating in the 2024 AFF Cup Under-16 and qualification for the 2025 Asia Cup Under-17. Both tournaments are scheduled to take place in mid-2024. See Today contributor reporting from Jakarta.
And on another occasion, the Indonesian Football Association recently announced the appointment of Japanese coach Satoru Mochizuki as the new head coach for the Indonesian women's national team. The appointment was marked by the signing of a contract with PSSI chairman Erick Thohir. The association had recently established a partnership with the Japan Football Association to improve the quality of women's football in Indonesia. This partnership includes training and education for referees and coaches in women's football.
The Indonesian Football Association has announced Satoru Mochizuki as a new Indonesian women's national team head coach. The appointment was marked by a contract signing with PSSI chairman Erick Thohir at Dana Reksa Tower in Jakarta on February 20th. Satoru Mochizuki has been trusted to handle and improve the women's team performance. This follows the previous coach Rudi Eka Priyambada taking up a coaching position at Gresik United starting on August 1st, 2023. Erick Thohir stressed that appointing a new head coach reflects PSSI's dedication not only to developing the women's national team, but also to enhancing the coaching infrastructure in Indonesia. To accomplish this goal, PSSI must collaborate with other countries and meticulously strategize their pathway to success in football and its implementation. With the presence of a new head coach, Erick Thohir targets the Indonesian women's national team to qualify for the 2035 Women's World Cup.
Of course, the first target that we want to do, we want to be the best in Southeast Asia. I think that's the first step we want to do. Then, after that, we can also be present in Asia level. Then qualified World Cup. But there is a long journey. We need to be patient, but at the same time we need to be serious on implement and building the programs that we are committing together between the PSSI and also Coach Satoru-san.
The Indonesian women's national team head coach Satoru Mochizuki expressed his pride in training the team. He considers it a valuable experience to train the women's national team outside of Japan. Mochizuki has set both short and long-term targets for himself and the team.
まず17の AFC の大会でインドネシアの女子のサッカーの力を確認したいと思っています。目指すのは世界基準なので、そのために計画を立てていきたいと考えています。
Fahrian Bahri and Erwin Widyastama for See Today.
And that was the last one for sports at this hour. And then after this, I'll back with Yanni and Kai to give you more information. So keep it here on the 3 Hour News Show on See Today.
We have more business updates right here from our nation, where the Association of Indonesian Automotive Manufacturers, or GAIKINDO, reported that over 1 million vehicles were sold in Indonesia last year.
The Indonesian government has announced plans to allocate around 4.8 billion rupiahs for this year's
pre-employment program.
Now, the program aims to help boost economic recovery, especially for those affected by COVID-related layoffs.
The Indonesian government is once again providing food aid in the form of rice reserves to support the public amid higher prices of the commodity in the market.
Stok bulog sekarang ini alhamdulillah masih pada posisi yang baik, masih 1,4 juta ton.
China has been racing against time for rescue and disaster relief work after a landslide on Monday struck a mountainous village in southwest China's Yunnan province.
Asian flavors is gaining more popularity around the world in the last decade. Personally love this, not just because it is familiar for our palate, but because the airiness, the textures of the youtiao, it's completely different than baguette. So with those appetites and with those pleasure-driven people, Menteng is a very special place for restaurant.
Teman bicara Maman adalah ruang tanpa sekat.
Teman tuli gini, Winda, kamu S1-nya psikologi ya? Iya. Saya mau curhat gitu. Gelar dokter penari itu langka.
Hanya 7 orang?
Saya.
Dirimu yang ke-7?
Ke-7, ya. Kalau saya observatif langsung menjadi ronggengnya.
Hai anak kecil, aku sudah bertahun-tahun berada di dalam botol ini.
Lock and hit tadi itu, di bagian hitnya saya coba manajemen menjadi knowledge. Justru yang lock saya simpan sendiri.
Bukit sampai elevasi gua hari itu nyentuh 4.000-an lah.
I kinda wanna die.
Their existence is now being critically endangered.
Dia memiliki ekor yang sangat panjang, lebih panjang, jauh lebih panjang daripada badannya sendiri.
Tekniknya dia keluar dia itu bergelombol, menggunakan punggung temannya untuk naik.
Sebenarnya konservasi burung hantu di sini latar belakangnya jelas asas manfaat. Jadi kita pengen melestarikan burung, melestarikan satwa, tapi juga otomatis dampaknya ke masyarakat yang khususnya sekarang kalau di sini kan petani.
And welcome back, our viewers, and once again, welcome to our viewers in Indonesia and across the world. Thank you for joining us on the 3-Hour News Show on See Today. Now, we have the next 2 hours to continue to bring you the latest from Indonesia, Southeast Asia, and around the world. I heard something about camel racing. I am Historia, and of course, we have Hans Lango and Hilian Hirata still with me.
Well, unfortunately, I haven't had the chance to give you all the coverage about the camel racing earlier in the sports segment, and I promise you I will give it in the next sports segment. By the way, my name is Hans Lango. Welcome to the 3-Hour News Show. Make sure you follow us on our socials. We are on X, Instagram, and YouTube at C2Day News for the latest updates. And with us today is Yani for the latest for the business world.
That's right. Thank you, Hans. Hi, everyone. My name is Hilian Hidranto. We're going to take a look at market and business updates from the country, the region, and elsewhere around the world. But now, let's take a look at what made the top stories for today.
In Lebanon, 4 people were killed while 3 others were injured after days of heavy rain that led to the collapse of a building in a southern suburb of Beirut.
The Indonesian Stock Exchange, or IDX, reported that the number of carbon exchange service users continue to grow, with figures forecasted to double in 2024.
From sports, the Indonesian Football Association has named Japanese coach Satoru Mochizuki as the head coach for the Indonesian women's national team.
And this is one for you history buffs. In our See the Story segment, we'll chat about a fun way to learn history with the Historia community.
Let's get into our first update for this segment. A building collapsed in a southern suburb of Beirut late on Monday, killing 4 people and injuring 3 others as search operations continued for more people under the rubble.
The building that collapsed in the suburb of Shueifar crumbled after days of heavy rain in Lebanon.
Local officials said that the building was not considered safe and that the municipality had ordered the four-story building evacuated 2 years ago. This was because of concerns that its foundations were weak. Despite the order, the owner of the building rented the apartments to Syrian families.
According to the Islamic Health Society that was taking part in rescue operations, most of the people living in the building are Syrian citizens. State-run National News Agency also reported that 4 people, 2 women, a man, and a child were all killed.
A member of the Lebanese Red Cross told the local Al-Jadid TV at the scene that 17 people are still believed to be under the rubble. A building collapsed in the same area earlier this month, but no one was hurt. As people were evacuated out of concern, it was not considered safe. Lebanon hosts more than 805,000 United Nations Syrian refugees, but officials estimate that the actual number may far be higher, between 1.5 million to 2 million.
تم سحب اثنين إناس على قيد الحياة وجدت الطفل، وحاليا نحن في شخصين عم نتواصل معهم وعم نشتغل لحتى نسحبهم.
يعني هيدي فاجعة حصلت ومع الأسف نأسف والله يرحم الشهداء اللي راحوا ويشفي على الجرحى. بترك هذا الأمر للاختصاصيين والفرق الهندسية اللي طلبناها من وزارة الداخلية واتصلنا بوزير الداخلية وهيدا محافظ جبل لبنان موجود معنا هون، والعميد ريمون خطار تبع الدفاع المدني أيضا موجود. هن بيعطونا حقيقة حجم الأضرار اللي حصلت.
Now moving you to the United States, college students in Colorado Springs were gathered on Monday to rally and mourn 2 people found dead in a dorm room just last week.
The gathering came the same day with the arrest of Nicholas Jordan on murder charges related to the shootings at the University of Colorado in Colorado Springs.
Police arrested the suspect without incident on 2 counts of first-degree murder. The arrest took place in Colorado Springs after the police motor vehicle thief unit located Jordan in a car. The tactical enforcement unit then took him into custody. Now the victims were identified as Celie Rain Montgomery and Samuel Knopp, a student at the university located about 69 miles south of Denver.
Friday's shooting appeared to be an isolated incident between individuals who knew each other and not a random attack at the school. While the coroner's office will determine the cause of the death, each victim was shot at least once. Police were alerted early Friday morning about shots fired at the university's dormitory, Creston House, where they found the 2 deceased.
A 19-minute campus-wide lockdown was issued after the shooting, and the university remained closed for the day and throughout the weekend. Monday classes were canceled, with the school offering walk-in counseling. The university, with over 11,000 students and nearly 2,000 faculty and staff members, await court records in the case. It is currently unknown if Jordan has legal representation, and no hearing has been scheduled.
We are here together to mourn and reflect a moment in time that I can only describe as one of the most difficult weeks in UCCS history. Thank you for being here, genuinely. I'm glad you're taking the time to come together with your fellow mountain lions. Mia and Sam were intertwined in the student population. So many of us knew the light that Mia brought to our UCCS community. While I didn't know Sam personally, our paths have most certainly crossed, given the closeness and the unity of the student community.
And now from Indonesia, police continue to investigate alleged bullying involving high school students in Serpong, South Tangerang.
And according to the latest report, the victim has been discharged from the hospital and is in outpatient care.
The South Tangerang police stated earlier today that they are now looking into the alleged bullying of a student at an elite school in the Serpong area. The victim is set to undergo a psychological examination very soon. Based on initial investigations, this was the second time the bullies had allegedly abused the victim, with the first time occurring on February the 2nd.
Authorities have also taken statements from the victim and his family while making the amateur video as evidence. A preliminary hearing is set to be held to determine the status of the suspects.
Untuk saksi yang diperiksa dari pihak korban dan pihak keluarga. Untuk bukti sementara dari hasil dari video kami dapatkan dari rekaman video, kemudian ada beberapa bukti lainnya. Kondisi korban saat ini, menurut informasi yang kami terima, sudah keluar dari rumah sakit dalam kondisi rawat jalan. Kami menghimbau kepada seluruh elemen masyarakat, mari kita bersama-sama mencegah kejadian ini untuk tidak terulang lagi di kemudian hari. Kami berharap kita semua meningkatkan pengawasan maupun melakukan tindakan pencegahan agar tidak terjadi lagi ke depannya kasus-kasus seperti ini. Rencana kami hari ini kami gelar perkara untuk peningkatan status dari penyelidikan ke penyidikan. Dalam waktu dekat nanti akan kami infokan. Diduga lebih dari 1 orang.
Also another update still from the home country. Indonesian President Joko Widodo this morning attended the special session of the 2023 Supreme Court Annual Report at the Jakarta Convention Center.
The president appreciated the efforts of the Supreme Court, which continues to reform as part of strengthening the rule of law and good governance in Indonesia.
The court in 2023 resolved over 99% of cases. The court has published 22,000 verdicts on a site accessible to the public. The court is committed to internal reforms, including a move to improve the e-court system and apply an AI-based decision spot system.
President Widodo in a speech reminded the Supreme Court of the public's hope for improvement. The court must therefore also focus on improving its human resources.
Harapan masyarakat kepada lembaga peradilan semakin tinggi. Masyarakat menuntut jaminan keadilan, masyarakat semakin kritis terhadap proses peradilan dan semakin terbuka menyampaikan penilaiannya. Di tengah-tengah tantangan ini, integritas adalah pilar utama, bukan hanya bagi para hakim agung, tetapi seluruh hakim di Indonesia, juga seluruh panitera ASN dan pegawai Mahkamah Agung. Kualitas SDM hakim adalah kunci. Integritasnya, profesionalismenya, kepekaannya terhadap rasa keadilan masyarakat, kepekaannya terhadap perkembangan zaman termasuk perkembangan ilmu pengetahuan dan teknologi.
And today marks the 78th anniversary of the Indonesian Naval Military Police Corps.
A celebration took place earlier today featuring a ceremony and parade at the Corps' headquarters in Jakarta.
The Indonesian Naval Military Police Corps celebrated its 78th anniversary with a ceremony and parade at its headquarters in Kelapa Gading, North Jakarta. Deputy Navy Chief Vice Admiral Erwin S. Aldedharma led Tuesday's ceremony attended by former and current military police commanders from across Indonesia. This year's anniversary tagline, Bringing the Spirit of Wisna Wira Widayaka, emphasizes the core commitment to supporting the Navy in creating a prosperous Indonesia. Wisna Wira Widayaka, a Navy slogan, alludes to patriotic, righteous and wise soldiers valuing the principle of truth. The commemoration featured a sequence of shows and parades featuring martial arts and police demonstrations. As the Corps entered its 78th year, the focus remains on addressing various issues, including cybercrime.
Hari ulang tahun Korps Polisi Militer Angkatan Laut yang ke-78 yang kebetulan memang jatuh pada hari ini, 20 Februari 2024. Kita ketahui bersama bahwa Korps Polisi Militer Angkatan Laut ini mempunyai tugas untuk menegakkan disiplin, hukum, dan tata tertib di jajaran TNI Angkatan Laut, sehingga tentunya kita juga mengharapkan Korps Polisi Militer bisa melaksanakan tugasnya dengan baik. Tentunya tujuannya tidak lain dan tidak bukan adalah agar pelaksanaan disiplin, tata tertib, dan hukum di lingkungan TNI Angkatan Laut itu ada yang mengawasi, sehingga kita membutuhkan contoh dan tauladan yang sesuai.
In their ongoing efforts, the Naval Military Police Corps played a crucial role in safeguarding the 2024 general elections, maintaining vigilance until the official conclusion of the vote counting process. Delia Dinda and Lutfi Evan reporting from Jakarta.
And Indonesian President Joko Widodo has inaugurated the expansion of the Dr. Suyoto Hospital in South Jakarta on Monday.
2 new hospitals were also inaugurated in Sorong, southwest Papua, as part of the ongoing efforts to improve healthcare services in the region.
Indonesian President Joko Widodo inaugurated the expansion of Dr. Suyoto Hospital in South Jakarta on Monday. The 26th-floor hospital, now named General Sudirman National Defense Central Hospital, or RSPPN, boasts a 1,000-bed capacity. Equipped with state-of-the-art medical facility, including 3 Tesla MRIs for precise tissue imaging, a cath lab, and whole-body X-ray. President Widodo also inaugurated 25 other hospitals across Indonesia, operated by the Defense Ministry and Armed Forces. Among them are 2 new 4-tier military hospitals, Dr. Arioko in Sorong and Dr. Utojo Lamtamal 14 in Sorong, Southwest Papua. During the inauguration ceremony, these hospitals expanded their facilities, intending to improve healthcare services for residents in their respective areas.
Saya mengimbau kepada seluruh lapisan masyarakat di Provinsi Papua Barat Daya, jika sakit, pilihan rumah sakit Dr. Arioko menjadi pilihan yang tepat untuk berobat. Kita tidak usah takut karena bilang ini rumah sakit tentara, tetapi rumah sakit ini melayani semua lapisan masyarakat dan ada pelayanan-pelayanan unggulan di sini.
Efforts to increase medical staff allocation continue with the aim to optimize the operational efficiency of both hospitals.
Jadi luasnya 5.369 meter persegi. Nah, itu nanti bisa diperluas lagi kalau memang ada kebutuhan peningkatan rumah sakit. Sementara ini kita bisa melayani kamarnya bisa menampung 50 pasien lah. Tenaga medis sekarang sudah 37 masalah ya. 37 ada spesialis-spesialnya ya. Spesialisnya itu 2 dokter gigi, 3 dokter umum, 7 dokter spesialis. Nah, ini yang nanti perawat-perawatnya nanti akan ada tambah lagi, kalau salah tanggal 29 ini akan masuk lagi sekitar 25 orang. Bantuan dari Angkatan Darat untuk dikirim ke sini untuk membantu supaya cepat pulang dari wilayah Sorong ini.
Defense Minister Prabowo Subianto reported that a total of 26 hospitals have been inaugurated, with 5 of them officially opened last March and the remaining 21 simultaneously launched this past Monday. See to the contributor from Sorong, Southwest Papua.
Indonesian Defense Minister Prabowo Subianto met with Australian Defence Force Chief General Angus Campbell at the Defence Ministry office in Jakarta on Tuesday afternoon.
After the meeting, Subianto emphasized the significant ties between Indonesia and Australia in defense-related matters.
Defense Minister Prabowo Subianto warmly greeted Australian Defence Force Chief General Angus Campbell at the Ministry of Defence office in Jakarta on Tuesday afternoon. The meeting was their first this year and saw gift exchange while various important matters, particularly those related to national defense and military cooperation, discussed.
Both Prabowo Subianto and Angus Campbell affirmed the strong ties between Indonesia and Australia.
How are you, General? Very. Kehormatan, beliau mampir. Ada beberapa hal yang kita diskusikan. Ya, hubungan kita antara kedua komunitas pertahanan, antara kedua tentara sangat baik. Ya, kita bicara hal-hal yang teknis saja.
And we want to divert your attention now to the National Press Day celebration at Ancol Eco Park, North Jakarta, 2 weeks after the official day on 9th of February.
Let's know more the latest updates of this event. We have our news team Andira Putri and Nico Arianto. Andira, what do you have for us from the ground?
Where around 1.5 hours ago, the celebration for the National Press Day has just ended. So this venue behind me, about 1.5 hours ago, used to be a place where the members of press as well as the high-level officials are gathered here to celebrate this monumental day, which is actually took place on the 9th of February. However, the official celebration itself has just taken place earlier today in here at Ancol Eco Park, North Jakarta. So President Joko Widodo attended this event and he also delivered his opening speech. The president stated that, again, he congratulated the press about our achievement throughout the years, including the highlights included the 2024 Indonesia general election, where President Joko Widodo stated that the press has managed to be able to guard the democracy as well as give effective information for all of the citizens in relation to the 2024 Indonesia general election. And aside from that, President Joko Widodo also stated that he is aware about some of the press inputs as well as criticism towards him. He actually gave a little bit of a cheeky remark regarding some of the caricatures that the press made about himself and also some of the social media posts that criticize him and also some of the bizarre artworks. However, the president stated that he respects all of them. He is not really think it as such a huge matter. However, he respects it and he sees it as a way of the freedom of expression between the press. So aside from the National Press Day celebration, today also marked a huge day in terms of the press as well as the digital technology development, because after several years, finally Indonesia President Joko Widodo has just signed the publishers' right, the presidential regulation about the publishers' rights. So if you know, the talk about the publishers' rights has been going on for this past 3 years after the pandemic, and then in the palace itself there has been several meetings, including with the members of the press as well as the high-level officials and respective ministers regarding the future of this publishers' right, where there will be a cooperation between the media, the journalists, the conventional media, with the digital platform, where they will have some kind of like a regulations as well as cooperation to be able to ensure that all of the contents in the digital platform is also based on the regulation from the journalism and also bring the press ethics and as well as embrace the democracy. So yesterday President Joko Widodo has just signed the presidential regulation about this, and today he announced this, and also the president made a remark that yes, there has been some of the a lot of the criticism as well as suggestions regarding this publishers' right. However, the president ensured that this is not a way to reduce the freedom of the press, but this is actually one of the initiatives for the press to be able to adapt with the digital technology development and also to be able to make everything become more cooperation and everything have the same value of content sharing and to be able to show that like everything is held accountable. So aside from that, the president also mentioned that we still need time to be able for this transition, for the implementation of this publishers' right. He has just signed the presidential regulation. It still have a long way to go for this to be able to be implemented into the right one for people. However, the president asked the members of press as well as the citizens and the digital platform to be able to guard this process. The president also aware that this has been a long process because it's quite hard to make it into a unit. It's quite hard to have the same voices regarding this. However, the president ensured that we still have a long way to go. It's not going to reduce the freedom of the press, but in fact, everyone must have to be able to guard this. So again, long way to go regarding the publishers' right. And aside from the announcement of the publishers' right and also the gratitudes regarding the 2024 general election, President Joko Widodo also gave some of the awards to some of the press members who have made a big contribution for Indonesia journalism in general and also for some of the high-level officials regarding their contribution to the press. So again, happy National Press Day. Hope the celebration itself, like what the president has been mentioned at the end, the press should be able to continue hold the democracy, and also we should be able to adapt with the change regarding the digital technology development. Again, happy National Press Day. Back to the studio.
So much, Andira and Nico Arianto, and also happy National Press Day for both of you. And now we're going for a quick break for this hour, but when we come back, we'll have the latest from Southeast Asia and also around the world.
And later during the hour, I'll bring you the latest from the world of business.
Yes, keep it tight here with us on the 3-Hour News Show only on See Today.
Good morning, Indonesia, Southeast Asia, and the world. Rise and shine, everyone. A brand new start to a brand new month and a brand new week.
Good morning. Good morning. It's like deja vu. Good.
It's like deja vu. It's like with sports, entertainment as well.
It is time for See Today with Business with me, Caroline. All right, guys. See Indonesia, see the world, see today.
Asian flavors is gaining more popularity around the world in the last decade. Personally love this, not just because it is familiar for our palate, but because the airiness, the textures of the youtiao, it's completely different when baguette. So with those appetites and with those pleasure-driven people, Menteng is a very special place for restaurant.
Kenapa sih dia selalu mau eksis kalau aku syuting? Ijo sama yang merah ini tuh rumah pribumi. Jadi aku taruh di dalam, makanya rasanya lebih welcome gitu. Modern banget. Dia tuh sempit banget kalau ceilingnya pendek. Menurut aku ya, kita belum ngerasa memiliki kalau belum ada sejarahnya.
Gue yang penting apa yang gue makan bisa gue buang pada saat gue olahraga gitu.
Jadi Adila kalau ketemu mungkin dia ketawa.
Dengan proses, gue bersyukur banget Kubu Junior tuh sempat bubar tahun 2016-2017.
Feelingnya sabu-sabu, karena sabu-sabu kita cuma makannya setahun sekali.
Kalau kita dengerin Spotify ya, Pak gimana sih caranya aku bisa masuk di sini gitu. Ya nggak boleh menghalangi lah.
Teman bicara Maman adalah ruang tanpa sekat.
Teman tuli gini, Winda, kamu S1-nya psikologi ya? Iya. Saya mau curhat gitu. Gelar dokter penari itu langka.
Hanya 7 orang?
Saya.
Dirimu yang ke-7?
Ke-7, ya. Kalau saya observatif langsung menjadi ronggengnya.
Hai anak kecil, aku sudah bertahun-tahun berada di dalam botol ini.
Lock and hit tadi itu, di bagian hitnya saya coba manajemen menjadi knowledge. Justru yang lock saya simpan sendiri.
Bukit sampai elevasi gue hari itu nyentuh 4.000-an lah.
I kinda wanna die.
Indonesian Foreign Affairs Minister Retno Marsudi addressed the UN Security Council during an open debate in New York.
Ini adalah open debate Dewan Keamanan PBB ketiga mengenai Gaza dalam 3 bulan terakhir dan Indonesia hadir di ketiganya.
Welcome back to the 3 Hour News Show. That's on See Today. Now, an explosion occurred on Monday at the house of the Polish Administrator Head, or KPPS, in Pamekasan, East Java.
The incident has caused damage to several pieces of furniture, windows and doors.
East Java police have identified the explosives as fish bomb, or locally known as bondet. Investigations are underway to determine the motives of the perpetrator, with a number of witnesses have already been questioned.
East Java Police Chief Inspector General Imam Sugianto further urged the public not to make assumptions regarding the incident.
Sudah di Pamekasan ya, sudah kita identifikasi bahan dasarnya adalah dari kalau nggak salah bom ikan bondet. Mudah-mudahan motif sama pelaku sedang didalami sama tim dalam waktu yang tidak terlalu lama, mudah-mudahan bisa kita ungkap. Doakan aja ya. Tapi alhamdulillah tidak ada korban jiwa, kerusakan material aja rumah yang ditaruh di depannya itu. Kita belum tahu motifnya. Kita tidak usah berandai-andai, biarkan tim bekerja dulu ya.
Untuk jumlah saksi yang sudah diminta keterangan.
Sementara ada beberapa di lapangan yang sudah diminta keterangan, tapi belum mengarah. Biarkan tim penyelidik BK Polda dari Polres Pamekasan sama BK Polda sedang bekerja.
Now, the final vote counting meeting in 4 districts in Sorong Regency, Southwest Papua, has been moved to a different location.
The local election commission relocated the meeting due to internet network issues and security concerns in those areas.
The meeting to announce the voting results at the district election committee level in 4 districts of Sorong Regency, Southwest Papua, has been rescheduled.
The affected districts are Konhir, Sayosa, East Sayosa, and Klaili. The meeting was initially set to take place in the courtyard of the KPU office in Sorong district. However, the local election commission has decided to relocate the meeting due to internet connectivity issues.
Ada memang beberapa distrik hasil dari koordinasi kita dengan Bawaslu, kepolisian, dan tentunya saksi lapor bahwa memang kondisi tidak bisa dilaksanakan di distrik, sehingga pergeseran itu harus dilakukan. Untuk memudahkan monitoring kita KPU dan membantu proses dari KPU bisa berjalan dengan baik, maka lebih baik di KPU saja. Satu, yang kedua alasannya pembackupan terkait dengan kepolisian juga lebih mudah terakses.
And the Indonesian Communication and Informatics Ministry is organizing the road to the 10th World Water Forum with the theme Maintain Water Quality, Maintain Indonesia.
The event is held online in Jakarta today, and the theme serves as a reminder to protect water as a source of common welfare.
Access to water sources and maintaining water quality remains a challenge in some countries. That makes it imperative to address this issue globally.
The 10th World Water Forum will be held in Bali from May 10 to 25 and will feature the theme of Water for Shared Prosperity. The Indonesian Environment Ministry's Director of Pollution Control and Environmental Damage, Sigit Reliantoro, said that 6 topics will be discussed in the forum. These topics include water for humans and nature, water security and prosperity.
Reliantoro emphasized the importance of improving water quality supervision in industries to meet the quality standards of wastewater. Currently, 79% of 2,853 industries have met the quality standards of wastewater. The ministry will continue to supervise the entire industry from upstream to downstream operations and apply strict sanctions for any violations.
Sektor industri yang sudah memasang sparring itu di sistemnya sendiri sudah diinstal karena dia kan real time. Begitu dia melebihi baku mutu, maka langsung di-generate peringatan kepada industri tersebut untuk segera memperbaiki. Nah, kemudian kan datanya juga kita bisa pantau. Kalau dalam waktu tertentu yang ditetapkan di peringatan tadi dia tidak bisa memperbaiki IPA-nya untuk memenuhi baku mutu, maka kita akan laporkan itu ke Dirjen Gakum.
Now we move to our neighboring country. Singapore plans to redevelop the checkpoint near the Singapore-Malaysia border due to chronic congestion at the crossing.
Now, land purchasing has become necessary to alleviate such congestion.
The Singapore Immigration and Checkpoints Authority said that such redevelopments are necessary to address chronic congestion at the land border crossing.
The Singaporean government intends to purchase 2.3 acres of freehold land that belongs to Malaysia. The move represents the acquisition of land for redevelopment other than through a land reclamation scheme. Malaysian High Commissioner to Singapore, Datuk Dr. Azwar Mohamad Mustafar, said that such purchase is logical for Singapore.
He suggested that it would be better to swap freehold land with Singaporean land, but the final decision is in the hands of the Malaysian government. He added that the Malaysian government has yet to decide the fate of freehold land. He went on to say that all Malaysian government land abroad are registered under Malaysia's Federal Lands Commissioner.
Previously, the Malaysian and Singaporean government sealed a land swap deal to resolve the acquisition of Malayan Railway in September 2010. That concluded our segment for now. We are going for another break.
And after the break, Yanni will deliver economics and business updates.
That's
for us.
right. All right, so in the business segment coming up next, we're going to talk about the prices that are escalating when it comes to rice.
Oh,
You talked about that yesterday.
That has been the elephant in the room.
Exactly.
In all households, guys.
And
All
also
households.
scarcity of this.
Yeah, exactly. So
Right.
we're going to talk about that later, but not only that, we're going to take a look at the stock market in Indonesia and globally. So stay tuned right here on the 3 Hour News Show on See Today.
Good morning, Indonesia, Southeast Asia, and the world. Rise and shine, everyone. A brand new start to a brand new month and a brand new week.
Good morning. Good morning. It's a deja vu. Good.
Deja vu. It's like with sports, entertainment as well.
It is time for See Today with Business with me, Caroline. All right, guys. See Indonesia, see the world, see today.
Asian flavors is gaining more popularity around the world in the last decade. Personally love this, not just because it is familiar for our palate, but because the airiness, the textures of the youtiao, it's completely different when baguette. So with those appetites and with those pleasure-driven people, Menteng is a very special place for restaurant.
Kenapa sih dia selalu mau eksis kalau aku syuting? Ijo sama yang merah ini tuh rumah pribumi. Jadi aku taruh di dalam, makanya rasanya lebih welcome gitu. Modern banget. Dia tuh sempit banget kalau ceilingnya pendek. Menurut aku ya, kita belum ngerasa memiliki kalau belum ada sejarahnya.
Kayaknya kalau gue pakai warna itu hari ini akan senang deh.
Ya kan belum nikah, jadi saya masih dapat angpau sih.
Ya, yang penting apa yang gue makan bisa gue buang pada saat gue olahraga, gitu.
Teman bicara Maman adalah ruang tanpa sekat.
Mentuli gini, Winda, Amos S1-nya psikologi ya? Iya. Saya mau curhat gitu.
Gelar dokter penari itu langka.
Hanya 7 orang?
Saya
Dirimu yang ketujuh?
ya. Kalau saya observatif langsung menjadi ronggengnya.
Hai anak kecil, aku sudah bertahun-tahun berada di dalam botol ini.
Lock and hit tadi itu, di bagian hitnya saya coba manajemen menjadi knowledge. Justru yang love saya simpan sendiri.
Satu bukit sampai elevasi gue hari itu nyentuh 4.000-an lah.
I kinda wanna die.
Welcome back to the 3-Hour News Show on C Today. And now we have your business updates for this hour. First up, we have the Indonesian Stock Exchange, or IDX, reported on Monday that the number of listed companies on the carbon exchange continue to grow and is forecasted to double in 2024. Now, the IDX is urging the listed companies to prepare the net zero roadmap as many foreign investors pay more attention to environmental, social, and governance. The IDX mentioned that as of today, Indonesian Carbon Exchange has 48 listed companies in total since it was launched in September 2023. The IDX is targeting to gain 50 new users from state-owned enterprises, subsidiaries, as well as listed and non-listed companies for a total of 96 users by the end of 2024. The IDX continues to discuss and socialize the advantage of carbon exchange to the listed companies as part of effort to draw new users. The IDX is also urging the companies to set a roadmap since many foreign investors are starting to pay more attention to environmental, social, and governance aspect, or ESG.
Nah, tentu kami harapkan setiap perusahaan tercatat, emiten juga mulai menyusun roadmap net zero. Karena apa? Karena investor, utamanya investor asing saat ini tidak hanya memperhatikan faktor financial performance dalam keputusan investasi mereka, tetapi faktor ESG itu juga menjadi perhatian yang sangat penting dari para investor.
President Joko Widodo is hoping for capital flows in Indonesia to improve after the 2024 general elections. He spoke during the opening speech at the 2024 Financial Services Industry meeting in Jakarta earlier today. According to the National Financial Services Authority, or OJK, a promising future is in store for Indonesia in 2024 after the country recorded a financial sector resilience of 27.6%, which was higher than other countries in the region. Meanwhile, banking loans reported double-digit with a 10.38% year-on-year growth in 2023 to exceed pre-pandemic levels. Furthermore, the country is aiming to improve inclusivity and sustainable development industry.
Saya tahu bahwa banyak para pelaku bisnis yang kemarin masih menunggu pemilu, wait and see. Karena agak khawatir dengan politik yang memanas menjelang pelaksanaan pemilu. Tetapi sekarang, alhamdulillah, pemilu berjalan dengan lancar, masyarakat berbondong-bondong ke TPS juga dengan riang gembira. Dan kita harapkan arus modal masuk, investasi, sehabis pemilu ini bisa bergerak lebih meningkat dan lebih baik lagi. Tapi kita melihat bahwa geopolitik global masih tetap kurang baik, kurang kondusif. Kita lihat perang juga masih berjalan di Ukraina, di Gaza. Tetapi yang paling penting, politik negara kita, politik dalam negeri kita stabil. Dan pastinya ini melegakan para pelaku industri keuangan dan membangkitkan industri keuangan yang semakin kokoh untuk mendukung pertumbuhan ekonomi yang inklusif dan berkelanjutan.
Moving on to our next update, CEOs at U.S. banks are enjoying pay raises despite declining profits and a slowdown in deal making. Goldman Sachs CEO David Solomon is among those who will receive a 24% pay raise to $31 million despite a 24% drop in the company's profits. Internal restructuring and refocusing on core businesses are cited as justifications. Goldman suffered a slowdown in investment banking activity that led to thousands of layoffs. Meanwhile, Citigroup CEO Jane Fraser, who joined the company in March 2021, becomes the only woman to make the list among the top 7 U.S. bank CEOs. Her salary is currently at $25 million, and Citigroup has yet to disclose her compensation for 2023. Other than that, 2 other CEOs are earning above Solomon's pay for their performance in 2023. They are JP Morgan Chase CEO Jamie Dimon and Morgan Stanley CEO James Gorman. Now, last week, the Vietnamese Industry and Trade Ministry reported that the country's export performance in the first month of 2024 recorded the highest turnover in nearly 2 years. Vietnamese exports stood at $33.6 billion in January 2024, or up 42% from the same period last year. The strong growth of overseas shipments was mainly driven by the agriculture, forestry and fisheries sector, which rose by almost 97%, and the processing industry, which climbed by 38%. Most exports are set for the U.S. with a value of $9.6 billion, surging almost 56% compared to the same period in the previous year. Meanwhile, shipments to the EU, ASEAN, and China were also up 18 to 58%. Foreign Trade Agency Deputy Director Nguyen Cam Trang said that the current global situation is forecasted to continue experiencing major and unpredictable changes. However, there are still many opportunities for exports to grow this year. And now let's see the latest from the stock markets in Indonesia and globally. We will start in Asia, where markets were mixed upon closing. Japan's Nikkei 225 closed 0.28% lower, but was still nearing record high levels. The Shanghai Composite Index closed 0.4% higher after the People's Bank of China decided to cut its 5-year loan prime rate by 25 basis points. Hong Kong's Hang Seng Index also closed 0.5% higher. Now, let's turn our attention to Wall Street in the U.S., which fell on Monday, breaking a 5-week winning streak. This comes after wholesale prices rose higher than expected, causing concerns that Fed might not cut their rates sooner. All the major composites in the U.S. closed lower. The Dow Jones Index was down 0.3%. The tech-heavy Nasdaq closed 0.8% lower, while the S&P 500 also fell by 0.48%. And now we turn our attention to Indonesia, where the Jakarta Composite Index managed to climb higher after it previously closed lower on Monday amid profit-taking actions. Now, the IDX gained by 0.7% to close at 7,352.6. And on that note, let's take a closer look at the stocks on the local exchange. Insurance company Asuransi Harta Aman Pratama, with the stock ticker AHAP, was the top gaining stock of the day as it soared by 34%. Ankara Logistik Indonesia, or ALEE, was the second top gainer as it jumped by 24%. Meanwhile, medical glove latex company Maja Agung Latexindo, or SURI, was the top loser of the day as it fell by 20.4%. Prajogo Pangestu's mining company Petrindo Jaya Kreasi, or Cuan, was among the top losers of the day as it fell by 10.7%. Alrighty then, those were the economics and business updates for this hour. When we return, Hans will again bring you the latest from the world of sports, so don't go anywhere, stay tuned right here.
spicy.
Absolutely delicious.
You know, it's actually pretty good.
Satu, dua, tiga.
Come see the nature, only on See Indonesia.
Come see the beauty, only on See Indonesia.
Only on See Indonesia.
Hey there, buddies. Welcome back to another episode of Buddy Talk.
Enggak. Dia hostnya, kita co-host.
It's better to be overdressed than underdressed. That's actually a good hack, because I used to live in Canada. That was our trick.
Point to Manado on this map. I'm horrible. I told you I'm bad.
Dikira dengan banyaknya informasi itu kan jadi makin gampang gitu nulis.
Iya.
Tapi ternyata susah banget. Ke Binjai mau migrasi.
Cakep.
Anjay, aku depotsi.
Ya, aku cuma mau bilang hari ini kamu tuh cantik loh.
Aduh ya Allah.
Oke lah kalau penampilan dia nggak sebaik itu, nggak sebagus itu, nggak seganteng itu, tapi itu hatinya dia sebaik itu dan tidak ada orang yang pernah gue temuin hatinya sebaik Mas.
Pemain.
Gue yang penting apa yang gue makan bisa gue buang pada saat gue olahraga, gitu.
Jadi Adila kalau ketemu mungkin dia ketawa. Dengan proses, gue bersyukur banget Kubu Junior tuh sempat bubar tahun 2016-2017.
Feelingnya sabu-sabu, karena sabu-sabu kita cuma makannya setahun sekali.
Kalau kita dengerin Spotify ya, Pak gimana sih caranya aku bisa masuk di sini gitu. Ya nggak boleh menghalangi lah.
Hello, welcome back to the show. Now it's time for me, Hans Lango, to deliver some sports updates. The first one coming from the home country. The Indonesian Football Association recently announced the appointment of Japanese coach Satoru Mochizuki as the new head coach for the Indonesian women's national team. The appointment was marked by the signing of a contract with PSSI chairman Erick Thohir. The association had also recently established a partnership with the Japan Football Association to improve the quality of women's football in Indonesia. This partnership includes training and education for referees and coaches in women's football.
The Indonesian Football Association has announced Satoru Mochizuki as a new Indonesian women's national team head coach. The appointment was marked by a contract signing with PSSI chairman Erick Thohir at Danareksa Tower in Jakarta on February 20th. Satoru Mochizuki has been trusted to handle and improve the women's team performance. This follows the previous coach Rudi Eka Priyambada taking up a coaching position at Gresik United starting on August 1st, 2023. Erick Thohir stressed that appointing a new head coach reflects PSSI's dedication not only to developing the women's national team, but also to enhancing the coaching infrastructure in Indonesia. To accomplish this goal, PSSI must collaborate with other countries and meticulously strategize their pathway to success in football and its implementation. With the presence of a new head coach, Erick Thohir targets the Indonesian women's national team to qualify for the 2035 Women's World Cup.
Of course, the first target that we want to do, we want to be the best in Southeast Asia. I think that's the first step we want to do. Then, after that, we can also be present in Asia level. Then, qualified World Cup. But there is a long journey, we need to be patient, but at the same time, we need to be serious on implement and building the programs that we are committing together between the PSSI and also Coach Satoru-san.
The Indonesian women's national team head coach Satoru Mochizuki expressed his pride in training the team. He considers it a valuable experience to train the women's national team outside of Japan. Mochizuki has set both short and long-term targets for himself and the team.
まず17の
AFC の大会でインドネシアの女子のサッカーの力を確認したいと思っています。目指すのは世界基準なので、そのために計画を立てていきたいと考えています。
Fahrian Bahri and Erwin Widyastama for See Today.
Indonesia will again host the Formula One Powerboat World Championship this March 2024 after a successful stint last year that brought in over 1.6 trillion rupiahs in revenue. This year's event will feature a new format and various showcases.
Indonesia will host this year's Formula One Powerboat World Championship at Lake Toba. Under a new format, 18 racers from 9 countries will compete for the world title. There are also plans for various side events, including a national jet ski competition and performances. State-run tourism company, In Journey, held a press briefing in Jakarta on Monday about the race.
Yes, so the race itself will be different because it will be in the morning instead of like last year it was in the afternoon. So it will be in the morning, and there will be an additional sprint race. So sprint race is whereas the race is actually 40 minutes, but the sprint race is actually who can race the fastest within one lap. So it's 2 different races will be held this year. One is a sprint race, and the other one is the Grand Prix itself.
Confirmed performers include Adaben, Raja, and Wali. There will be a traditional dance showcase featuring 370 dancers as well.
Kita mengangkat budaya lokal, dalam hal ini kebudayaan tari. Jadi kebudayaan tari pun itu pun tidak hanya sekedar tari, tapi bagaimana bisa menggambarkan khas kebudayaan Sumatera Utara. Setelah kita lihat ada 8 etnis di situ. Nah, itu yang kita angkat dalam sebuah tarian kolosal.
Tickets for the races are now on sale, with prices ranging from 200 to 500,000 rupiah. Reski Anasto, Erwin Widyastama for See Today.
So I guess I'll see you in Danau Toba. All right. Moving on to racing, where William Byron marked the Hendrick Motorsports' 40th anniversary with a Daytona 500 win.
Finally, The Rock says, drivers, start your engine!
In the 2024 Daytona 500 held in Daytona Beach, Florida, William Byron emerged as the winner after a massive wreck towards the end of the race. His goal was to put the number 24 Chevrolet in the victory lane to launch Hendrick Motorsport 40th anniversary season, which he successfully achieved. Even though he had to complete the final lap under caution around Daytona International Speedway, he accomplished his mission.
Now Logano the outside. They can't get around. Oh, Keselowski gets turned by William Byron.
This victory ended Hendrick Motorsport 9 race Daytona 500 losing streak. Byron crossed the finish line under the white flag denoting the final lap. At the exact moment, a crash occurred behind him. The caution flag was thrown, and he wasn't quite sure if he was the final winner as he circled Daytona one final time. The most recent driver for Hendrick to win the Daytona 500 was Dale Earnhardt Jr. in 2014. Byron, a 26-year-old from Charlotte, North Carolina, became the 6th driver to win Rick Hendrick, who holds the record for the most wins as a team owner in NASCAR history. Remarkably, Rick Hendrick celebrated his victory on exact 40th anniversary of his first Cup win.
And now the report that I've been promising you since the start of the program. The ladies' race was the headliner at the first edition of the custodian of 2 Holy Mosques Camel Festival in Riyadh that was organized by the Saudi Camel Racing Federation from February the 8th to the 18th. It is only the 2nd year that women have been permitted to race in a sport where robot jockeys are a regular sight. The race, a 2-kilometer dash, was the richest in camel racing history and was won by French jockey Coralie Virulot, who is based in Dubai.
Very good race where I won finally. We've been training for many months. I mean, I've been riding for 2 years now, training every week, or twice a week in Dubai. It's where I'm based, where we compete also. And today was a very well organized race. We didn't face any issue, any challenge. Today was
Well, looking at that, my memory just transported to the movie Scorpion King. All right, that's a wrap for sports for now, but when we return, we have more information, including our signature segment, See the Stories, where we'll talk about history. So keep it here on the 3-Hour News Show on See Today.
Berangkat aja dulu, kerjakan apa yang ada di depan kalian. Setidaknya kalian hari ini walaupun tidak mendapatkan uang, tapi kalian mendapatkan kesempatan.
Walaupun di awal-awal itu banyak sekali rintangan dan tantangan.
Kalian berproses aja dulu, jalan aja dulu. Kalau udah waktunya kalian untuk dapetin uang akan datang nyamperin kalian. Hal yang paling sangat utama untuk mengawali bisnis, ridho dan restu orang tua. Itu hal dan modal paling besar dalam mengawali usaha.
The China Earthquake Network Center reported that the quake rocked the Ertupen County in Aksu Prefecture shortly after 2 a.m. local time.
Minister January Makamba was a guest in one of our news programs, the 3-Hour News Show, yesterday. While he was in the studio, he used the opportunity to explain the current state of diplomatic ties between Tanzania and Indonesia.
Indonesian Foreign Affairs Minister Retno Marsudi addressed the UN Security Council during an open debate in New York.
Ini adalah open debate Dewan Keamanan PBB ketiga mengenai Gaza dalam 3 bulan terakhir dan Indonesia hadir di ketiganya.
Indonesian Foreign Affairs Minister Retno Marsudi addressed the UN Security Council during an open debate in New York.
Ini adalah open debate Dewan Keamanan PBB ketiga mengenai Gaza dalam 3 bulan terakhir dan Indonesia hadir di ketiganya.
Good morning, Indonesia, Southeast Asia, and the world. Rise and shine, everyone. A brand new start to a brand new month and a brand new week. Good
morning. Good morning. It's a deja vu. Good.
It's like deja vu. It's like with sports, entertainment as well.
It is time for See Today with Business with me, Caroline. All right, guys. See Indonesia, see the world, see today.
So spicy.
Absolutely delicious. You know, it's actually pretty good.
Satu, dua, tiga. Come see the nature, only on See Indonesia.
Come see the beauty, Only on See Indonesia.
Only on See Indonesia.
Welcome back to the 3-Hour News Show on See. Today, we're finally here in our final hour, and we will continue to bring you the latest story, of course, in our special and signature segment, See the Stories. You're still with me, Historia.
And I'm Hans Lange. For the latest updates, you can also follow us on our socials. We're on Instagram, X, and YouTube. Our handles are at See Today News, and also with us.
I'm Hiliani Hidranto, but before anything else, let's see what's making the headlines for today.
4 people were killed while 3 others were injured after days of heavy rain in Lebanon led to the collapse of a building in a southern suburb of Beirut.
The Indonesian Stock Exchange, or IDX, reported that the number of carbon exchange service users continue to grow, with figures forecasted to double in 2024.
Earlier in sport, we saw the Indonesian Football Association, which has named Japanese coach Satoru Mochizuki as the head coach for the Indonesian women's national team.
And in just a moment in our See the Stories segment, we'll talk about a fun way to learn history with the Neo Historia community. Stay tuned.
Hi viewers, welcome to See the Stories, the signature segment of the 3-Hour News Show. Now before we proceed with our guest interview today, I'm going to ask Kai. I want to know, Kai, if you enjoyed studying history in school.
Guilty here in Indonesia? No. but I love world history.
Okay, all right. Well, if you love learning about history or want to learn more but find it boring or hard, then you can join a community called Neo Historia. Let's take a closer look at what the community has to offer.
Neo Historia is a community that caters to people with an interest and passion for history. This community serves as a platform where history enthusiasts can come together to share their knowledge and experiences. Members can engage in discussions with each other to explore local and foreign history. Neo Historia also regularly organizes various activities to keep the community members engaged and entertained. Like that. Now, there are lots of facets of Indonesian history, as you know, and we want to know more, of course. We have the founder and CEO of Neo Historia in our studio today. Good afternoon, Daniel. How are you?
Yes, I'm very fine. Thank you for having me today.
Well, this is certainly
Thank you so much.
interesting. So we know that Hans Lange was a big fan of Neo Historia.
Yeah.
And could you please tell us about Neo Historia and how it came to be? Because I heard you're actually a management major.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I think it's a kind of very not connected, right, between management and history. How come a management student can create a historical media that's kind of far away from, from academic background like that? But the first idea that I developed during my college year is I love history so much, and I want to share history with all of my friends. So there was an idea that how about I create something that can actually telling people about history in more engaging way, in more interesting way like that. Yeah, as you know that some people say that history is boring, right? Like you say that history is not your forte during the school.
Not, in school here, it's because the way it's taught.
Yeah.
And I went, mind you, I went through a curriculum change with so many curriculum changes where sometimes there was history, sometimes there was not. So it was kind of weird in that year. But yeah.
Yeah. And
not that I don't like history.
And that is what my friend told me, why you love history. History is boring. You just memorize the dates. You just memorize the name of the people that I don't even know who's that, right? And then there was an idea. Then I, with my friend, I created Neo Historia. Actually, it's kind of like a community first, just for history nerd. And actually not kind of like a big media as is now today, but thanks God. And it become so many people follow our social media account, and today is so many followers right now. So it's actually just like a history community with my fellow friends, but it's developed into media because so many people follow us. And then there's time I developed our vision. Yeah. So our vision is history is very interesting topics that we can share with each other, just like when we watch anime or watching a TV series.
Yes.
It's so engaging, right?
Yep.
Like it's not happened in the real world, but you still watch it. How about history? You see, like
Real happenings in the world.
It's happening and it's affect all of us, right? It's influence all of us. The reason why we're here, the reason this Indonesia as it is now today, is because of consequences of history.
That's right.
And from history, we can learn from it to create a better future.
I like that vision.
Yeah.
I surely do.
So it's not like my friend said before, it's just a memorize place and dates and memorize the name of the people that we don't know. It's actually learning from the past experience to prepare a better future.
I like that.
That's what we strive for.
Yeah. And I like how he says in the beginning, the community is for history nerds.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it has evolved, of course. So,
Yeah.
how do you ensure that the accuracy and reliability of historical information before sharing it on social media? Because this is pretty tricky too. You have
And what kind of history do you cover in your social media? Is it just Indonesian history or world history?
So how we manage the credibility of our information, because history is a very subjective topic, if we could say about it, because there's a plenty of perspective that we could explore, right? So how we ensure the credibility is we're trying to read as much as possible from every perspective, from every book that we can carry on. And then from that perspective, we're trying to convey it into one information that somehow we give a new insight for our readers. For example, like the history of PRRI rebellion, pemberontakan PRRI in West Sumatra. In history books, we learned that that's a rebellion. But if we read it from the perspective of from the local people in West Sumatra, they would say it's not a rebellion because we don't want to rebel. We don't want to separate with Republic of Indonesia. We just want to protest because the decentralization is very bad at the time, and we want to protest. But the central government consider us as a threat, as a rebel. And from their perspective, we collect it and we create a content that cover both sides. And then to ensure more credibility, we always heard the criticism from our followers because not everyone is actually agree with us for some topics, but we always heard them. Even sometimes their opinion is kind of very weird. It's so full of conspiracy, but we always listening to them, and from that we can actually get a new information from them.
Wow, that's
so
really interesting.
So actually we cover Historia Indonesia and Historia, world history also. So as long as in the past, we cover it. Even
as long as it's in the past, we cover it.
Even the yesterday news, we can cover it. As long as we can find the credible source and we can find the reference that can support our content.
So what happened 2 minutes ago? No, we're just kidding. But you know, apart from discussing history, right? What other activities do you do in your Historia? Because I've seen that you guys have activities, you guys have outings, and how do you engage with your community?
So we are actually making an event. So we are going to museum, and then we are going to walking tour. To walk around Jakarta, or sometimes we are doing a seminar we are doing discussion also, like discussion history. But we want to tell our followers that history is actually around us. It's not just like a word or text in the textbook.
Yeah.
It's actually happened around us. What happens today will be history in the future. What we are doing today, someday will be history in the future. So we engage it with our environment. So we're creating even like, oh yeah, in the next day we will make we will go to the movie theater and watch the movie together or watch history movie together, and then after that we discussing that movie. So it's more engaging in a way.
So these activities are open for public, or do you have to be a member of Neo History?
Yeah, it's open for public. We also have a membership, but that membership only apply to those who already accept to our requirement to pay a monthly fee. We pay a monthly fee, so the benefit is from the monthly fee we collect it together and we can subsidize it with our maybe a ticket price and all of that, but it is open for public, so everyone can join with our event. We will tell it on our social media.
Oh, very fun. So, because we're talking about history here, right? You mentioned before it's very subjective, and there are a lot of experts who have a lot of different opinions, right?
Yeah.
So, do you collaborate with academic institutions or other historians to improve the quality of the contents that you share with your community?
Of course, because we believe that there is a saying that very popular this day that they say the death of expertise. People tend to listening to people that have no academic background, maybe in social media, and it's actually very debatable. But we believe that academic institution, teacher, lecturer is very important in our journey to deliver a fun history. Even one of my partner, his name is Hanafi Wibowo. He is a graduate from Madinah University and Universitas Islam Syarif Hidayatullah. He is basically historian. So he is my academic partner. So because he has the academic background, so we need to consult with him first when we delivering a content, and we will make a content basically based on academic process like that. So my job is trying to make it interesting as possible. So like cooking. So he cook the recipe, he cook the ingredients, and I add the seasonings, just like that. So yeah, in the future we will collaborate more with campuses, with school, with academic institutions, because we believe basically Historia is just a gateway to history learning. In the end, the one who will carry on the expertise of history is actually the lecturer, the teacher. We are just the gateway to make people that in the first place don't like history, they become interested in history, and then we invite them to learn more deeply. You can ask that lecturer, you can ask that academia, like that.
So it's like an introduction.
Yeah, we just like an introduction.
So through Neo Historia, you aim to general interest in history. So speaking of contents, what strategies do you use to make historical contents accessible and engaging for people of all ages and backgrounds?
Okay, so we are trying to follow the social media trend, because nowadays, according to the data, most of the youngster, most of the youth has a social media account. They are spreading everywhere in Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Every social media has its own advantage and disadvantage. We're trying to learn its advantage and disadvantage. Like in TikTok, we're trying to make a short video in more engaging way, because yeah, people tell me they're kinda not interesting with video with more than 1 minute. So we're trying to adapt with every social media. In Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, we're trying to create memes, because nowadays internet memes is very engaging with youngster. Like the memes in internet. We're trying to adapt with it. We're trying to tell history with memes, and then maybe we creating a comedy video, so it's more engaging in the way. Because I look at the youngsters, they tend to joking around.
Yeah.
So why not we trying to make a history more relaxing with that way?
Because usually history is a very tough subject, right?
Yeah.
But you've already adapted so much to appeal to the younger generations. Is it working? Do you feel like the Generation Z is developing an interest in history? Because there's been a lot of talk that Generation Z is a generation without roots. Do they feel like they're looking out for the information?
I think that sometimes people find history is not too relevant with their life. Like my friend said before, history is just memorize the name and place and the people we don't know, and they kind of feel it irrelevant with their lives. So what we are trying to say is just try to look history as an entertainment. That's the first reason to like history. You can see history as an entertainment first. Like you watch a movie, like you watch TV series. Why you watch that? It's not even happen in the real life, but you watch them because it's interesting. It activates your imagination. It activates your own. You like it so much because it connecting with your imagination. And that history, we're trying to tell people that history also can be fun. And it can also activate your imagination because let us ask some history that happened in the past. What if Indonesia not gain her independence in 1945? What if Indonesia independence in 1950? There's a very and what changed today if that history changed that way? So we're trying to make it to activate their imagination. So we're trying to make them realize that history is actually very relevant with their life. What's happened past affecting us today.
True. Lessons learned in the past for the future.
Yeah.
Right. Well, so how do you manage misinformation or myths about history that may arise in your community?
AKA conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
So it's actually like a staple food for us. It's like a breakfast in the morning. So yeah, there's plenty of misinformation out there. There's plenty of conspiracy theory out there.
Yeah.
And like I said before about the saying that the death of expertise, people tend to listen to someone that has no academic background that support their evidence. So there's plenty of misinformation out there. So how we fight it? We fight it in more engaging way, like with memes, with sarcasm or satire. We're trying to tell people that let's trust your logic. We as humans, we have logic. We can actually differentiate between what's wrong and what's right.
Yeah.
And how can we differentiate what's wrong and what's right? In our insight, right? We trying to read more books, watch more documentary, and we're trying to absorb insight from everywhere. We're trying to just read more books. Yeah. If you read more books, then you will find the conspiracy theory and misinformation on the internet. It seems very weird like that. To be honest, I want to make a confession. When I was a high schooler, I can read into conspiracy theory. And during that time, it's so believable. It's so believable, like a crop circle, like an alien invaded USA and take over the USA government. And about the conspiracy theory, they say, so many like that, conspiracy theory. But after I read more books, I watch more documentary, and I absorb many insight from many places, and I find it very weird and very not logical. Not logical. So how we fight misinformation and conspiracy theory? We are trying to deliver a way to. We're trying to invite our followers to not trusting anyone, even us. not trusting everyone, even us. We always tell that you need to be skeptical with our posts. You need to search it more in a different place. Like when we create one content, remember to check our reference. Remember to check our reference and please check it well, and you can search it in another place. You cannot consider us as a source of truth. You need to skeptical with us. So if we're trying to say that to our followers to skeptical with us, you can be skeptical everywhere. So the first step is to skeptical and not trusting anyone, even us, even Historia. Don't trust it too much. You can search it everywhere. Our content, you can compare it with other references like that.
Critical thinking, very important.
Yeah, critical thinking.
Indeed. Well, Daniel will still be with us, and See the Stories will continue after the break, so don't go anywhere.
We have more business updates right here from our nation, where the Association of Indonesian Automotive Manufacturers, or GAIKINDO, reported that over 1 million vehicles were sold in Indonesia last year.
The Indonesian government has announced plans to allocate around 4.8 billion rupiahs for this year's pre-employment program.
Now, the program aims to help boost economic recovery, especially for those affected by COVID-related layoffs.
The Indonesian government is once again providing food aid in the form of rice reserves to support the public amid higher prices of the commodity in the market.
Stok bulog sekarang ini alhamdulillah masih pada posisi yang baik, masih 1,4 juta ton.
China has been racing against time for rescue and disaster relief work after a landslide on Monday struck a mountainous village in southwest China's Yunnan province.
Asian flavors is gaining more popularity around the world in the last decade. Personally love this, not just because it is familiar for our palate, but because the airiness, the textures of the youtiao, it's completely different when baguette. So with those appetites and with those pleasure-driven people, Menteng is a very special place for restaurant.
Teman bicara Maman adalah ruang tanpa sekat.
Teman tuli gini, Winda, kamu S1-nya psikologi ya? Iya. Saya mau curhat gitu. Gelar dokter penari itu langka.
Hanya 7 orang? Saya. Dirimu yang ke-7?
Ke-7, ya. Kalau saya observatif langsung menjadi ronggengnya.
Hai anak kecil, aku sudah bertahun-tahun berada di dalam botol ini.
Lock and hit tadi itu, di bagian hitnya, saya coba manajemen menjadi knowledge. Justru yang love saya simpan sendiri.
Satu bukit sampai elevasi gua hari itu nyentuh 4.000-an lah.
I kinda wanna die.
Their existence is now being critically endangered.
Dia memiliki ekor yang sangat panjang, jauh lebih panjang daripada badannya sendiri.
Tekniknya dia keluar dia itu bergelombol, menggunakan punggung temannya untuk naik.
Sebenarnya konservasi burung hantu di sini latar belakangnya jelas asas manfaat. Jadi kita pengen melestarikan burung, melestarikan satwa, tapi juga otomatis dampaknya ke masyarakat yang khususnya sekarang kalau di sini kan petani.
Still with us on See the Stories, and we're going to continue our talks with Daniel here from Historia. So, what challenges or obstacles have you faced while running the community, and how do you overcome them?
So the first things that comes to my mind is the netizen commentary. So there's a story that there was once netizen that never believed with
anything you publish.
Anything I publish. So he just questioned everything that he he don't believe us, right? And then he accused us that we are paid by Russian embassy in Jakarta. So it's not logical at all because yeah, we don't even have a connection to that embassy. But he always accused us, you are being paid by Russian embassy. And then we're trying to say to him, you don't have a proof. Yeah. You don't have a proof. And the accusation still is going on and is making an headaches. Right?
Well, welcome to democracy.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
It's all part of democracy, right?
Because history is that subjective. Some people want to believe what happened, you know, and some people deny it because they want to believe what's in front of them, and they cannot take it if they realize it's the past something completely different happened. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's why, you know, that's why it's really important for people to be able to. I think the learning history is important that way because you have to keep an open mind.
Yeah, that's you need to absorb every perspective, even from the one that never believed us. We need to listen to him, actually. So the obstacle in our media is we cannot control people's mind, right? We are not trying to control people's minds also. We're trying to deliver a funny story. That's our job. But the obstacle is how you can convince someone if your content is actually based on the references. That's the challenge. You are trying to say that here is our content. Even though I say that you need to be skeptical with us, we also have a right to say that you can believe us. Yeah. Right? It's kind of contradictory, but it's actually it's an amber to discussion. It's a spark for discussion. So we're trying to make a paradox to spark and discussion. So you must skeptical with us, but you can believe us. Kind of paradox, right? But it's actually spark and discussion. So the challenge is we're trying to make people believe with us. And then that's why make us better day by day. We're trying to learn. We're also learning. We also, as a media, we're also learning. I confess our media is not perfect. Our media still have many gaps that need to fill. So we learn day by day, and how we overcome it. Actually, we're not overcome it yet. Because that obstacle is like a morning breakfast to us. It's coming every day. It's coming in every minute, actually.
That is really interesting because why would you waste your energy on trying to convince people that do not want to care, that do not care, if they want to believe the truth or not?
Because I believe people read comment in the post.
Yeah.
And I'm not only trying to convince him, I'm convinced everyone that read that comment. So when we're trying to discuss with people that comment in our post, comment with our article, actually it's not only for him, it's for people that read that comment. So I take example from the post in the morning. So we posting about the Indonesia occupation in East Timor, or now become the Timor-Leste. So there's a paper say Indonesia are not colonizing East Timor. Indonesia actually integrate East Timor into the as a part of Indonesia. We're trying to convince them, and actually based by uti possidetis principle, we are not rightful to have East Timor because they are not part of Dutch East India. They are part of Portuguese India. They are not part of Dutch East India. So we're trying to convince by the means of uti possidetis principle in the law. And then spark the discussion in the comment. So we are not trying to convince him. If he doesn't want to take our conviction, then why waste energy? But it's not necessarily for him only. It's for the people that read comment. And from that discussion, we can actually deliver a new insight for the people that read the comments. So
I appreciate the fact that you try to spark, you know, highlight the controversies that are worth embers and sparking discussions, which is actually very smart because you want to talk about the past. People love talking about the past. So you might as well talk about the truth of the past. fast, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, Daniel, thank you so much for coming and
you.
all the success. Is there any milestones that you look forward to achieving with Neo Historia?
Okay, so I've been thinking about creating a movie. Because as our other guild said, in Indonesia, memperkenalkan sejarah dengan lebih menyenangkan. We're trying to deliver history in more fun way, and I believe that entertainment is our path to make history as fun, as interesting as possible. So I'm thinking about creating a movie. I think in the near future, maybe in this year or next year, we will collaborate with production house to create a history movie that can deliver a new way to learning history. I think that's a project that we want to pursue in the near future. But also we are creating comic books and we are creating an event. Maybe there's an anime event called, not an anime, it's a Comic Con called Comic Furor. I think I really want to join them, open booth there and trying to engage with our followers there. So that's a project that we want to pursue in the near future.
Wow. Well, all the best to you. But
Thank
you know
you so
what?
much.
Before we wrap up today's interview, it's always part of our tradition to welcome our guests here with a game. So we're gonna call our game master in, Hans Lango. Hello.
Don't you just miss me in this talk about history? But now we want to test you of your history knowledge.
Oh, wait, who's playing?
Both of you.
Oh, no.
It's a myth or fact. So there you go.
Oh,
Yani and Kai. So I will do the game for today. So the big screen will show you a statement about Indonesian history. So you both have to answer whether the statement is a myth or fact. And Daniel, you have to give the right answer and brief explanation after the answer, whether it's myth or fact. Okay. Are you ready?
Yes.
All right. Yani,
so.
ready or not, here I come.
Ready or not?
All right.
Here I
Now, can we have the first one on the screen, please? Indonesia was ruled by the Netherlands for 350 years.
I think this is...
It's fact, right?
Okay, both of them answered fact.
I know
So,
that's 300 something.
Daniel,
Give me.
is it a myth or a fact?
For us, it's actually a myth.
What?
Sorry, it's
For
actually
them,
a myth.
it's a myth.
Okay, for
Is it
Neo
the
Historia, it's a myth.
Is it the extra 10 years or 5 years that they didn't approve of our independence?
Yeah, that's actually very debatable. But most scholars actually say that it's actually just propaganda. We are not colonized by Dutch for 350 years. Not at all. If we are meeting, Indonesia independence is in 1945, right? Yes. And if you minus it, 350, it's actually date to 1595. The first Dutch explorer, Cornelis de Houtman, arrived at Banten in 1596. It's actually 1 year after that given year.
So Kamala Hayati welcomed him, remember?
Yes.
Kamala Hayati killed him.
Kamala Hayati killed him, yes.
Yeah, he's actually only an explorer, not a government.
Not the full
say. No, he just
So
an
when did
explorer.
it start? Just a visitor.
And if we doing research in history, right, the VOC or East India Company is actually established in 1602. 1602. It's actually
So a
6
little
years
less
after.
than 350
Yeah,
years.
it's okay.
So 340 years.
And if we say about the history of Indonesia, the concept of Indonesia is actually not too old. It's actually conveyed in the yacht place in 1928.
Yes.
Right? 1928 during the yacht oath, Sumpah Pemuda, and then there was the time that Indonesian concept birth, right? And if we try to minus it, 1945 is actually not more than 20 years.
Amazing.
Right?
So it's very interesting to actually learn more about history and what you said about history and also neo-Historia, how you spark the debate and also being skeptical with you at the same time, trust you with all the information. Actually, that's very interesting. All right, so let's get on to... This is a new thing for me. Okay, let's get on to the next question.
Okay.
Indonesia has 2 presidents who are often overlooked in history.
Really?
I don't know.
I don't know that we had that many. I think it's a myth.
Okay, Yani.
We had a prime minister thing, but I know that presidents, we didn't have that many. We can count the presidents.
Yeah.
Right.
Indonesia has 2 presidents who are often overlooked in history.
Is that fact or myth?
Okay, Yanni's answering fact. Kai is answering
I can count back all the
myth.
presidents. I know. That's the thing. Is there something wrong with the way I think?
All right, so Daniel, according to you and Neo Historia, is it a myth or a fact?
It's a fact.
It's a fact.
It's a fact.
It's a fact.
Can you name 2?
The first one is Syarifuddin Negara that established the emergency government in Bukit Tinggi.
Yes.
And the second one is Asad Mudo. And he was a president of Indonesia during United States of Indonesia era. So there was an entity inside the United States of Indonesia. So we know that United States of Indonesia is federal state. So inside the federal state, there are many states like Indonesia, the East Indonesia, and Madura Nation.
Was that before or after 1945?
After 1945.
After. So the first one, Mr. Syarifuddin Negara, is established emergency government during the capture of Sukarno and Hatta in Yogyakarta. So Sukarno and Hatta was rendered useless because they are captured by the Dutch. So according to the nation law, they need to establish an emergency government so their legitimacy can be carried on forward. So Mr. Syarifuddin Negara was told that you need to build an emergency government in Bukit Tinggi, and thus Republic of Indonesia still exists according to the law.
Wow.
So we actually have a Minangkabau president, Mr. Syarifuddin Negara.
Well, there goes
mind blowing.
of only Javanese.
Wow.
And according to the law, he's a president.
Daniel, it's very amazing that you are here with us and also answering all these things that we might not know before. Right? So, Daniel Imantara, thank you so much. And also, please say hello to your friends at Neo Historia. And can you tell us where can we find you? Let's say, because we know Neo Historia on Instagram, but in case someone is just watching and new to Neo Historia, where can we find you?
Okay, I just want to say thank you for Neo Historian, Ape Neo Historian. Thank you also for my colleagues and my friend that watching me today. Yes, actually I'm very nervous because this is the first time I'm on it's so big camera. The camera is so big. I'm very thank you, and you can find Neo Historia in Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and TikTok, and YouTube also. We also creating videos. So let's learn history in more fun way together. Let's learn history because if we learn the past, we learn the experience from the past people, and we together, by learning history, we can create a better future.
Thank you so much, Daniel. All right, so see the service will continue after the break. Do not go anywhere. Stay with us. More history? Oh no, I got it. All right, stay with us.
Good morning, Indonesia, Southeast Asia, and the world. Rise and shine, everyone. A brand new start to a brand new month and a brand new week. Good
morning. Good morning. It's a deja vu. Good.
It's like deja vu. It's like with sports, entertainment as well.
It is time for us to today with business with me, Caroline. All right, guys. See Indonesia, see the world, see today.
Asian flavors is gaining more popularity around the world in the last decade. Personally love this, not just because it is familiar for our palate, but because the airiness, the textures of the youtiao, it's completely different when baguette. So with those appetites and with those pleasure-driven people, Menteng is a very special place for restaurant.
Kenapa sih dia selalu mau eksis kalau aku syuting? Ijo sama yang merah ini tuh rumah pribumi. Jadi aku taruh di dalam, makanya rasanya lebih welcome gitu. Modern banget. Dia tuh sempit banget kalau ceilingnya pendek. Menurut aku ya, kita belum ngerasa memiliki kalau belum ada sejarahnya.
Indonesian Foreign Affairs Minister Retno Marsudi addressed the UN Security Council during an open debate in New York.
Ini adalah open debate Dewan Keamanan PBB ketiga mengenai Gaza dalam 3 bulan terakhir dan Indonesia hadir di ketiganya.
All right, welcome back to See the Stories. We knew that Yani and Kai had just discussed learning history in a fun way, and one of the things that you can do is actually to visit museums. And in Jakarta, to be exact, a lot of interesting museums, and also they refurbished it into a more interesting place. With all the digital features.
Yeah.
Say Museum Bank Indonesia, Museum Bank Mandiri, so actually lots of them. Now, visiting museums can be a fun way to learn history, as I said. Now, allow me now to recommend one museum that you can visit. This is in Yogyakarta. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Ulen Sentalu Museum. Initiated by the Haryono family and managed by the Ulating Blencong Foundation. The museum was inaugurated by Yogyakarta Governor Sri Paduka Paku Alam VIII on March the 1st, 1997. And Ulen Sentalu is an acronym of Javanese philosophy, meaning light is the guide of life.
Ulen Sentalu Museum offers insights into the civilization of the Mataram Kingdom, which was divided into 4 places in Solo and Yogyakarta. Here, you'll find collections of paintings and photos of royalty, as well as Solo batik, ancient gamelan, and statues of the Hindu-Buddha culture. All artifacts were collected from the sultanates of Surakarta, Yogyakarta, Mangkunegaran, Praja, and Kadipaten Pakualaman.
The Ulen Sentalu Museum is located along Boyong Street and is open from Tuesday to Sunday at 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. with ticket prices ranging from 50,000 to 100,000 rupiah.
I went to this museum with my parents.
So how did you find it?
It is very nice because I have this, when it comes to Indonesian history, I think my biggest passion is all the kingdoms and, you know, that kind of history, and it was very beautiful because I know that the Javanese kingdom have a very beautiful, the kingdoms in Java have a very beautiful history that goes ancient way back, right?
True.
So there's a lot of history there, and I love it. Indonesia is very deeply rooted indeed.
And guess what? I've been there too, and I don't remember anything there.
No! Come on! No!
Oh, maybe this is the right time to send Yani back to Yogyakarta.
She needs to do a live report, okay? She needs to do a live report of every single item that she sees there. Well, speaking of Yogyakarta, let's just stay there. There's another one that you have to visit. Now, I've been here too with school.
Yes.
The Vredenburg Fort, a must-see tourist spot. This museum is not only educational, but also boasts an impressive collection. Indeed.
I have to agree with you, Kai. The Vredenburg Fort is a building located in front of the palace of the Yogyakarta Sultanate. The fort was built as a center of government and defense of the Dutch population during that time. The fort was square-shaped and has a watchtower at each corner. Frederik Fort, meaning Fort of Peace, was established in 1760 by Sultan Hamengkubuwono I at the request of the Dutch, led by Nicolas Harting. This fort was initially made of wood, but later the construction was sped up and reinforced with bricks in 1775.
The Frederik Fort Museum boasts an impressive collection that includes a diorama depicting of Sudirman's inauguration as Armed Forces Commander, a Budi Utomo Congress mini Rama, and a Suryo Pranoto typewriter and 3 pots. It is said that these pots were actually used by Sudirman when he lived in Metro Prawira's house. The entrance fee for the Vredeburg is 3,000 rupiah per person. It is open for visitors from Tuesday to Sunday from 7:30 to 4 p.m. 3,000 rupiah, is that more reason?
It's almost costs you nothing,
Yeah.
so even more reason for you to actually visit museums.
It is.
Right?
Yep. All right, viewers, we'll be...
Is that the one where... I'm sorry, I just wanted to confirm. Is that's it's the one in front of the 2 trees, right?
True. True,
Okay.
that's right.
Have you ever tried that one? The
Oh,
two
no.
That's not the alun-alun.
That's the southern...
the southern side of the castle,
Isn't
right?
this by Malioboro? No.
True. That is right. So it's actually just right before, if you know, the Raminten Theatre.
That's
so
right.
Actually, across the theatre.
You know what? What great segment that we should discuss next and see the stories?
What is it?
The mysticism of Indonesia.
Oh, that is certainly not Yanni's cup of tea.
But it's certainly yours.
It's certainly mine.
All right, we'll be back with your daily dose of entertainment on the last segment of the show. Don't go anywhere. You don't want to miss that.
Good morning, Indonesia, Southeast Asia, and the world. Rise and shine, everyone. A brand new start to a brand new month and a brand new week.
Good morning. Good morning. It's a deja vu. Good.
Deja vu. It's like with sports, entertainment as well.
It is time for a Speak Today with Business with me, Caroline. All right, guys. See Indonesia, see the world, see you today.
Asian flavors is gaining more popularity around the world in the last decade. Personally love this, not just because it is familiar for our palate, but because the airiness, the textures of the youtiao, it's completely different when baguette. So with those appetite and with those pleasure-driven people, Menteng is a very special place for restaurant.
Welcome back to our last segment of the show, the entertainment segment. So are you ready?
Yes.
For the 31st Hanteo Music Awards that was recently held at the Dongdaemun Design Plaza in Seoul, South Korea.
The Hanteo Music Awards, or HMA, is an annual music awards show organized by Hanteo Global, a company known for its reliable K-pop album and merchandise sales data. Now, the 2-day event was held from February the 17th to the 18th and was hosted by Max Changmin of pop duo TVXQ.
Yeah. That is right. So winners from 15 categories were announced on this first day, ranging from Artist of the Year, Best Male Group, and Special Award. Girl group Kepler was crowned as Artist of the Year, while soloist Kim Han Bin, better known by his stage name B.I., won the Special Award. Meanwhile, BTS won Best Male Group and Best Vocal Performance for their song Yet to Come.
No surprise there.
Yes.
It was a weird year, 2023, right? With the hiatus of BTS.
Yeah, because they got to the military.
Yeah, the military.
Yeah, the army. And lots of people are actually waiting for them to come back.
Yeah.
And even, swarming around the pictures of them sending from inside the army.
There was a recent reunion picture from them inside the army. And everyone went crazy.
Yeah. Cute. All right, wait, we have to go to the next one. South Korean solo singer IU continues to make extraordinary achievements. And after going viral with the song Love Wins All, she now returns to release her song called Holsey.
Yeah. IU has dropped a music video for Holsey, one of 2 title tracks of her upcoming mini-album, The Winning, which is due out next week. Now, Holsey means 4 in Korean and tells the story of self-discovery while describing her life's journey throughout the years. Through songs and lyrics, IU has encouraged people of her age to understand themselves better. Holsey is also a declaration song where she chose to be free, to explore the wide world while also wandering without a purpose. I like that.
Meanwhile, IU previously released the music video Love Wins All. That features Taehyung BTS on Wednesday, January 24. The song Love Wins All tells the story of someone who invites a lover to go to a place beyond imagination, far from the ordinary world. This song occupied first position in the South Korean music YouTube category for 3 consecutive weeks. Wow. Love Wins All has also received 7 perfect all-kill certifications for popular songs.
Interesting. Well, that does it for today's episode of the 3-Hour News Show on See Today. Be sure to also follow us and stay connected with us on our socials through Instagram, X, and YouTube. Our handle's at See Today News.
See Today can now be enjoyed in Australia on a Foxtel's OTT platform, Flash app, or in Macau Cable TV Channel 84. If you're in the Philippines, you can also watch the Converge Vision Channel 58 and Singtel Singapore Channel 15.
And if you are a Telkomsel user, so this is actually your privilege because you can also watch See Today on the Maxstream app. Don't forget to tune in again tomorrow, same time, same channel, and also to catch our morning show every day at 6 a.m. I'm Hans Lango.
I'm Hiliani Hidranto.
And I'm Kai Soria. As always, we'd love to say...
See Indonesia, see the world, see today. Bye-bye.
For IKN, we left Balikpapan, and it feels like an adventure. I'm looking forward to this. You know what I love about the forest? It's a mystery of its own. So we passed Samboja Junction, which will become the center of logistic distribution. It's also planned to become development area where people can live in the future. And it certainly is a very vast land. And there's still wildlife. There's a monkey. There's monkeys everywhere by the road. I'm a little bit scared to open the window now, but yeah, it says warning signs. I mean, this is literally the wild Indonesia, and I'm loving this. So different from the cities that we have so far.